Chris Ello idle again, although he got to watch our Lady Aztecs put it on the Kansas State. What are they? The
Wildcats.
Yeah. This team that was in the NCAA tournament last year. Sweet 16, if I'm not mistaken. Aztecs take them down relatively easy, too. So Chris Ello will be back with us tomorrow for the short show, of course. And Mr. Skraby, how are you, my friend?
I'm all over the place today.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. Just as we walked in, Michigan fires Sharon Moore. We'll get to due to violation of university policy. We'll get into that a little bit. The hot stove is heating up.
You had to say that, right?
It's heating up.
We haven't said that yet this hot stove season, so we got our quota in.
It was due. Pete Alonso said it yesterday. I was confused as we talked to Matt Snyder. I was confused why this man was not getting paid. He was probably considered, by most accounts, he was considered the second best slugger behind Kyle Schwarber. Baltimore Orioles said, here, hold my beer. We're going to pay you a little bit more than Kyle Schwarber. 155 over 5 years. He is now a Baltimore. He is one of the rare birds that Scott Boras pointed out yesterday. Pete Alonso to the Orioles.
Is Schwarber a Boras guy? I'm looking it up right now.
It's a good question.
Because it's like, did Boras say, hey, we need to make more than Kyle?
I don't think he is a Boras guy. But you certainly know Alonso.
Oh, he's a Boras guy.
He definitely felt good when it's
Excel Sports Management. Is that Boras?
That's not Boras. Boras is Boras Corp. So
you're right. Yeah, it is Boras Corp.
Yeah. So how about that? That is the I don't know if it's a surprise he doesn't have to move too far.
No.
Orioles now have made some splash signings. Ryan Helsley, they signed him to a 2-year, $28 million deal. And I'm sorry, Frank. Frank, for those who were listening before our show, listen to Frank come on and scream his lungs out before they're headed to the Navy game, if I'm not mistaken.
Tonight. That's news to us, but good for them.
Good for them to get to travel. But he's going to be traveling sad because his first baseman is no longer a Met. He's an Oriole, and it keeps coming. Had heard from AJ Preller. You guys will get a chance to hear from him today. Had, I would say, some newsworthy statements, as close as a sure thing in his statement as AJ Preller will ever give you.
Yeah,
so
true.
We'll get to that in a little bit. But what do you think of this Michigan fire? I mean, they're still collecting information. Apparently, he was fired for violating university policy. It sounds like I saw the word not concrete, pretty good evidence that he was having a relationship with someone on the staff. I'm not sure what his marital status is, but apparently that is against policy regardless. And so he is no longer the head football coach of the Michigan Wolverines.
Oh gosh, for some reason I thought Notre Dame, and I was like, man, this is a really bad week for Notre Dame. But
similar colors, but not quite the
same. I definitely think this is. I don't want to talk about it or I don't want to give a hardcore opinion on it because I don't know what it is. But if it's against the rules, it's against the rules. There's been one place in my life where they told me you're not allowed to date anyone who works here unless you disclose it to us, and so. If I was told that in my hiring in a small part-time job, then I'm assuming that he knew what the rules were.
Credible. Since following university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. The statement reads, this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. So
I do love the interim coach. His name.
Biff Poggi?
Biff Poggi. That is a name. I just love anyone named Biff. I've never actually met a Biff in my life.
Only on, what's that, Back to the Future?
Yeah, Back to the Future is the only thing. But Biff Poggi's got it all.
Shout out to Biff, man. He gets one of the most sought-after jobs in the country. Man, this is regardless of what wrong, if there was any like actual wrongdoing, it was against policy.
Yeah.
And boy, that's a fumble.
That is a fumble.
If you're
No
more.
pun intended.
I mean, no, yeah, pun intended. I mean, you had one of the the job fell into your lap.
It did.
When Jim was I don't whether he took the job, but it sounded like he was going to be suspended.
Yeah.
You got a chance to kind of audition without like completely having a job because he was suspended, and you fumbled the bag, man.
I don't get these people, and I'm going to speak generally because we don't know his full situation, but I don't get these people who have these great jobs and have these nice lives to us, and they just throw it away. I don't know.
It just seems like people are just playing like comfortable playing Russian roulette.
Yeah. Oh man, Sharon Moore does have a wife and
yeah, that's a problem.
2 kids.
It's a big problem.
Yeah, 2 daughters, Shiloh and Soleil. But yeah, that's unfortunate. So that's
yeah, there it is. that's what it is.
It's always a staffer, obviously, because you spend a lot of time together, but I would start hiring other staffers, male staffers or something.
No, you can't do that, man. You gotta display your diversity. You just gotta avoid the temptation, my man.
Oh, I can do that. I've worked, Tony, you and I have worked in professional settings for a very long time.
Yeah, man.
I have never thought about getting fired for inappropriate behavior with a staffer.
Sorry, not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's just not worth it.
It's not at all.
Aside from that, not a whole lot going on in today's day of sports. Not like yesterday where it seemed like news was just falling at our feet. But just kind of going back to the Padres, kind of the winter meetings is kind of, ending at this point. I know Sam Levitt, the great, is on his way back.
Doesn't care about our show.
No, he got his work done early on his way back, as I'm sure everybody else is. Just kind of going off something I saw in the article. The Padres are expected to hire coaching staff. Bob Henley, former national, a little more national flavor here. Ryan Goins, who was what staff was Ryan on last year? Oh, he was on the Angels staff. I talked to him when he was here. Sounds like he's going to be in. Kevin Plawecki, he was a Padre for a little bit.
Okay, why does that name sound so familiar?
He was a Padre for a little bit. He's had some big league time. He's been in our organization. They'll be part of the revamped staff under Craig Stanman, according to the Athletics' Dennis Lynn. Henley will coach third base. I believe he did that for the Nationals when I was there. Goins will be the infield coach. And Plawecki will move from being a minor league catching instructor for the Padres to a new role as a big league catching coach. First base coach Dave Macias will return, and Nick Punto will also return for the second year on the Padres staff in a different role, it sounds like, than he was last year. But sounds like Craig Stam is starting to put together his staff that is going to help him kind of blossom in his first year as manager.
I can't predict anything.
No,
and
you can't.
It's not like I could be like, oh man, those are terrible hires, because I have no idea.
I'm glad you acknowledge that.
Yeah, I've come a long way, Tony. I have no idea, but it's nice to see that Craig Stammen's getting his staff together. But
Ryan, I'll give you some background on Ryan Goins. Really good infielder when he played for Blue Jays for quite some time.
Yeah.
As I said, he was on Wash's staff last year. And I think he's going to fit in to this with these veterans. One of the things I know I talked to him about last year, he had a relatively young squad. And he was trying to figure out ways to have to, to reach him without, it's different era and player. They don't take as much direct credit. So you got to kind of finesse how you talk to him. And he was, kind of trying to figure that out at the time. I think he's going to have a much easier time with these veterans. And a lot of them played against him, so they'll know him pretty well.
I like that they have guys that are just out of playing
instead
of being out of playing for a long time or never played at the major league level. I think that's valuable.
Yeah, that's why Nick Puto was so well liked. I think that's why Stam is going to be so well liked. So yeah, Kevin Plawecki was in the organization, catching guy. He'll be down on the field working with the catchers. He's got some pretty good base to work with. All right, let's get to break. On the other side, AJ Preller, who is probably the best I've been around in terms of saying something without saying nothing.
Correct.
Said something. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out what that was. More Gwynn and Chris.
These things, it even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here, don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole, nice smooth delivery, hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
These things, it even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here, don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole, nice smooth delivery, hit it too hard.
Sasquatch.
So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
these things. It even tells you, hey, there's a canyon over here. Don't hit it here.
Skraby from about 45 feet. His caddy tells him to play it a little to the right. He's been playing well so far today. Fourth hole. Nice smooth delivery. Hit it too hard.
Skraby, Chris Ello, Idol, and boy. We're not gonna get to it on air because we don't know if it's true, but there's a bunch of what do you call those board, what is it when people get on the computer and they're like gossiping and different chat boards or something like that, right? There's one circulating in Michigan, and it's
yeah.
If
Sorry.
this is indeed true, and like I said, we won't.
Yeah, it's like a Reddit post,
Yeah.
but
If it is indeed true, it's
bad. It's
all
bad.
bad.
But again, that was just a comment made on a chat, so we're not saying there's any truth to it.
Not saying any truth, but yeah, somebody who's feels like they're pretty tapped into the university.
Yeah.
We'll wait to see how that story develops. Now, in terms of Mr. AJ Preller being the best at saying a lot without saying anything, said something for real this time. And it had to do with Fernando Tatis Jr.
I have to set it up a little bit because it's a long conversation, and AJ is asked about untouchable players off limits. He gives a 90-second AJ Preller answer,
but then gets to the
and then someone goes, "But is he untouchable?" Like at the end, and
someone sounds like they were hip to the talking that AJ does.
Yeah, you want to hear it? Here we go.
The production and leadership piece for our team next year.
So is he untouchable?
Dennis said he doesn't like that term, so but he's somebody that again we're not talking about. So however you want to view that, if you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that.
So
he said someone we're not talking about.
Yep.
That's as close as you're gonna get, buddy.
That's as close as
you're gonna get,
and that's fine. I can take this and run with it.
He definitely made a point because he said he blamed it on Dennis. He said Dennis doesn't like that word.
He did say that.
He doesn't like untouchable. However, we're not talking about him.
Yeah, which again to me opens up a much larger question of where are these AC reports coming from?
Are you referring to the blockbuster that's being, reportedly worked on? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, and AC has reported multiple times now that there is legs to this.
Let's explore this. Kevin is really good at his job, and I don't know him to have ever been wrong, at least in my time here. So I take him at his word. I believe that there's a blockbuster in the works. I ask you, how can the Padres create a blockbuster?
How can they create a blockbuster?
What pieces have to be involved for there to be a blockbuster? Is it blockbuster in terms of just a lot of players? Or is it blockbuster because of the type of player involved?
It's the type of player involved. Because when I hear blockbuster,
that's what your interpretation?
Yes, I'm thinking of
because I feel like I've read articles where there's been like 9-player blockbuster deal.
Yeah, that's not blockbuster to me. Blockbuster is Dylan
the
Cease.
Talent, the
Dylan
talent
Cease,
involved
yes.
in the
talent
deal.
Involved and who you're giving up, and are these multiple stars moving to different teams?
Okay, so let's explore that. By your account, blockbuster is the talent involved. On the Padres roster, who is of that ilk? Who has that kind of talent that would constitute a blockbuster?
I would say the guy that's untouchable, Fernando Tatis Jr.
We're not talking about him, so he's not on.
So he's out.
He's out.
I would say Jackson Merrill's in that conversation based upon his age and what he's done so far. I would say I mean, Manny Machado has to be a part of that conversation. I would put Xander in there, but no one's going to take his contract, so I can't even put him in there.
Why is nobody taking his contract?
Because he's making $25 million until he's like 90 years old.
What's wrong with him making $25 million?
He's not producing for it.
So
he's not producing for
okay,
it.
So
I see. You just trapped me.
So according to you, his talent is not good enough to constitute a blockbuster.
I think his talent is good enough, but it will never. His contract will never be moved. So I'm not even considering him
but Manny's can be.
Manny's can be because Manny can still produce.
So again, you're saying that Xander's talent at this point does not constitute a blockbuster.
Correct. Okay. I wouldn't say that was a blockbuster.
So you're saying Manny, you're saying Jackson, you're saying
Mason Miller, Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejon.
You think they all constitute what can be a blockbuster?
Yes, Jason Adams said he'll be back and ready to go for spring training.
All right. Now let's parse this even more. You mentioned Adams, Morejon, Estrada, Mason.
Yes.
Can relievers really constitute? Do you have to do multiple in order for it to be a blockbuster?
Multiple relievers? Probably, yeah.
Does Mason Miller do it alone? Is he the type of piece that can constitute a blockbuster by himself?
Would you consider his trade to the Padres a blockbuster? Number one prospect in the system for their closer? That it was highly sought after.
It wasn't just
it was a couple guys, but it was Leo Dallas DeVries. I've already forgotten his name because he's not here anymore.
Right.
I think that Mason Miller, I don't know that he alone can get enough back for the Padres to make it worth trading him. I mean, how much do you think contracts are looked at in these trades?
I think they're always looked
because
at.
Mason Miller's contract is amazing. I think he's not even to arbitration yet. He's pre-arb. So they got like 4 or 5 years of him, or 2029, I believe, is when he is signed through. But Nick Pivetta, we didn't say that. Nick Pavetta's name has been out there a lot.
Make, 19 this year?
19, yeah. Yeah. I don't see a blockbuster out there for the Padres. I'm not going to put it past AJ Preller, but I don't see it right in front of me.
I'll say this. It's hard to envision a blockbuster without including some of the names that I know nobody wants to include.
Do not touch Jackson Merrill. Do not touch Fernando. Do not touch Manny.
Well, they're not. Fernando. We know
Don't touch Joe Musgrove.
We know Joe. We know Fernando based on what AJ just said. Not being talked about.
Yeah.
So if indeed there is a blockbuster,
Jake Cronenworth.
If there is indeed a blockbuster in the works that doesn't include Toddy,
who does it include?
Yeah, that's the part that makes it hard for me to see it. But again, this is AJ we're talking about. So
I would say that
oftentimes when we're looking out over here, he comes from somewhere behind us.
Oh, totally. I buy into that. Yeah. Every move that he makes, you just never see coming. But I would think out of all the names we just said, the one player who's going to fetch most.
You know who it is?
Jackson.
I
cannot see them signing him.
I can't
see them signing him to a long deal and have him be a Padre for life and then trade him the next year.
I mean, listen, that was also before a trade was, or not a trade, a sell was in the cards. I think that's, I mean, he's the one that gets you the most. I can't foresee a situation in which they move him. No, this is why it makes it hard for me to understand a blockbuster that's in the works.
Yeah, it's hard for me to understand that too. But the blockbuster, when it could be a bunch of prospects. I said this last night.
That's what I'm saying. Like it can be
to acquire someone else, like how they did it with Drew, or how they got Dylan Cease. They traded with the Yankees, got Drew Thorpe. He was a big part of the Dylan Cease trade, and so AJ flipped some prospects for Dylan Cease.
Right, but at this point, the class that was just drafted haven't really had a chance to play and become prospects the way
you don't know yet.
So you don't know. And so, yeah, I'm as intrigued as everybody else is as it pertains to this blockbuster that it seemingly is being worked on right now.
What about this one from Jeff?
Let me hear it.
Could be Sheets and a relief pitcher for a solid number 3 starter.
Yeah, could be, but that's not a blockbuster.
That's not a blockbuster.
That doesn't reach the level of a blockbuster. I mean, that certainly could be a move that is beneficial to the Padres.
Now, if
they
you're
decide to do that.
Tarek Skubal's on the board, I think he's going to be moved. They're talking way too much about trading him. If the Padres wanted Tarek Skubal and they gave up Jackson Merrill, number 1 prospect, and Jake Cronenworth for Tarek Skubal, you doing it?
I hate these stupid.
I'm not doing it.
Give it to me again.
You got Jackson Merrill, top 3 prospect in the Padres system. I don't know who.
I was going to say, who's that?
I'm just putting him in there.
Okay.
And then Jake Cronenworth.
Damn.
Wait, did I say Jake earlier?
You said that's.
I'm sorry.
Though you giving up Jackson.
No. Okay.
The top 2 prospects and Jake Cronenworth.
Let me start this over.
That's like 4 for 1.
Okay. What about Jackson and a top 3 prospect? And because it's Tarek Skubal, you got to give him like David Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not either. 3 for 1 doesn't interest me right now, especially with the guy who's coming into the last year of his arbitration contracts. So he's going to be a free agent next year.
I'd rather not give Jackson up, period. But
me too.
This is Major League Baseball.
The baseball.
So, you never can really 100% say never.
See, you're not going to actually have to, since we're using Tarek Skubal as the example, because of his expiring contract, I maybe used the wrong guy, but because of his expiring contract, he's not going to, the return doesn't need to be as much, but the Tigers aren't going to take anything less than winning that trade.
Call
up AJ, ask him what he's thinking right now, and then relay it to us on the other side.
I pass on that.
Okay.
Let's get to break. On the other side, Aztecs in action tonight. Lamar Cardinals.
Cardinals, yes.
I remembered that from yesterday.
Nice job.
Mark Zeigler will join us next. Talk a little Aztec basketball on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris. I don't understand it. How does Pete Alonso's reported deal with the Orioles impact Juan Soto? He won't have
In
Pete
the
Alonso
lineup?
hitting behind him anymore. Know that. If he was complaining about not hitting behind Aaron Judge earlier in the year, you really about to go through it now without Pete Alonso in it. Now you're gonna be hitting behind Lindor, so you got
That's not
someone in
bad.
front, but you probably ain't gonna see as much to hit
What
this
you got?
coming year.
Who you got behind him? Like Mark Vientos?
At this point,
I mean,
so they sign somebody else. It made me happy to see that the Mets are heavily pursuing one of the main suitors in the Robert Suarez sweepstake. And the way they wrote that was like there was multiple teams in on that kind of sweepstake. So we'll see how it plays out.
It
for
makes
Robert
sense
Suarez.
because Edwin Diaz got his feelings hurt and went to the Dodgers because the Mets apparently
they brought in Devin Williams.
Yeah, they didn't tell him beforehand, which I do understand is a nice thing.
A little bit, but enough to be like, I'm out.
Yeah, like I'm so mad now. I'm going across the coast.
Let's keep it a buck.
Across the country.
You signed with the Dodgers because they made you the highest AAV of any reliever. Let's keep it real, dog.
And also,
you could play they brought Williams in and didn't ask me or didn't tell me. Okay, but you also got paid a boatload of money. That's why.
And you're on a really good team in a city that is one of the better cities. Not to me, but to some.
Glad you checked yourself.
Yeah, not to me, but some. Definitely some.
Not to me though. Not to me, but
no. I mean, have you ever been to Chavez Ravine? It's a horrible place.
That's just a stadium. It's not a city.
Los Angeles, I should say.
You didn't say that. You said Chavez Ravine.
You're right. I'm just misspeaking all over the place. I try to make a blockbuster trade, and I give out the one guy that I shouldn't have given out, Tarek Skubal, because he has the most complicated trade.
At least your mic is on today.
No.
You turned it on to sound crazy. So
thanks, Tony.
You're winning elsewhere. Mark Zeigler will join us here shortly. Aztecs in action here tonight. They take on 5-3 Lamar. The Cardinals, if you will. Aztecs coming off a win against Utah Valley. They look pretty good. I think they won by 11 or 12.
11.
They won by 11 in that game, 77-66, something like that.
Yep.
I got to take my son to that game. Got to sit courtside for the first time in our life. It's pretty sweet.
Whoa.
I definitely was on my toes, like ready to pull him and I out the way if a ball and somebody had to come diving over. Because last thing I want to end up is on my back looking up with my feet in the air because I just got trucked by one of the hoopers.
Farrell Compton.
Yeah, by going for the ball. I don't need that.
Yeah, that would be a little scary, but I would enjoy seeing all the videos of
I'm
you.
Sure you would.
You like a bug on your back.
I don't want to go out like that. So
I don't want you to go out like that either.
I'm glad that we exited the building, exited Viejas well. Are you calling him now, or are you telling me you have him?
I'm calling him right now.
All right, so Skraby's going to get Mark on the phone. We're going to talk some Aztec basketball here shortly. Looking to kind of finish up their pre-conference schedule here with some strength as they take on Lamar. Mark Zeigler joins us here, Union Tribune. Mark, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. So no Chris today? Is he just too busy backing his car into a spot?
Oh yeah, Tony. When you were here last time, Mark Zeigler, he's on our side. He does not like Chris and I
was
side.
here. Yeah, no.
Oh, you were here.
Yes, I remember telling you this.
Never mind.
Chris has actually just finished the women taking on Kansas State, so he'll be back tomorrow. I'll make sure I pass along your love when he gets back. Mark, Aztecs in action today. They coming off a win against Utah Valley. I would say it was a better showing for the Aztecs in that game. How are they looking to kind of build off of their last performance here against Lamar?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of an improvement. And Utah Valley is not a bad team. I mean, that's a team that very likely could end up in the NCAA tournament and maybe do some damage. They've got some veteran guys, and they're pretty tough and have some skill, and won 25 games last year, so it was a decent win there. The hardest thing for them right now is just the way the schedule has just fallen. They have all these long breaks. I mean, They had 9 days before they played Troy, then they had 6 before they went to Vegas, then they had a week before they played Utah Valley. They have another week now before they play Lamar. They have another week off before they play Air Force, and then they get into a little bit more of a rhythm. But that's the key word. I don't think they've been able to get in any kind of rhythm. It's just been practice, 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 practice. And then you get into a game, you're a little rusty, and then boom, you're back at practice. So I don't know if all these practices where they've been trying to change some stuff and emphasize some defensive principles, all that stuff we're really going to see until maybe they start to play games twice a week and get into a rhythm. But they're definitely trending in the right direction, but it's kind of a fragile trending. I mean, you never know with this team right now.
You wrote a great article on freshman Tay Simmons, who was big in that game against Utah Valley. Came in, his energy was really unmatched that whole game, and ended up starting the second half, played well, grabs a bunch of rebounds. I remember you saying, I think maybe the first time we had you on before the season started, and you were talking about kind of the motor and the physicality in which he played. And I hadn't seen him yet. So when I saw him on the floor, I was thinking to myself, he's a little smaller than what it sounded like you were describing him as. But then as you watched him play, it all started to make sense.
Yeah, he's been a really, I don't want to say a surprise, because that's why they recruited him. And it was funny because last year when they were, he had committed pretty early, and so as they got into the season and they struggled to rebound the ball, I mean, the coaches kind of privately said, that our best rebounder is in high school right now.
Right.
And it's Tay Simmons. He goes, I don't know what it says about the guys we have right now because they're struggling on the boards. He goes, but Tay's pretty darn good. And he told them, and I said that in the article, when they talked to him about rebounding, man, we need a rebounder. He just said, Coach, that's not going to be a problem. I will go get rebounds. That's what I do. And so, and he's proven it. I mean, he really hasn't played very many minutes, and he's leading them in a bunch of metric categories. And you saw he played 15 minutes the other night, and kind of saved them in a way, because Reese Waters wasn't playing very well. Miles Bird had 2 IVs before the game, and it really wasn't doing anything. Magoon was not doing anything. And so, they needed, you used the best word, energy. They needed it desperately, and he gave it to them.
Mark Zeigler joins us here. San Diego Union Tribune covers our Aztecs. And Mark, Magoon Guaf comes back. He misses a bunch of time. I know he was dealing with a little bit of a flu in the last game, but just watching him on the floor, although physically he might be ready, it just seems like he doesn't quite trust it yet in terms of moving the way we saw him move last year. And we had Coach Babertelli on, just kind of talking about how it's going to take some time before he has that full trust in the knee and being able to be explosive. It just seemed like he was a half a second late in his reaction to wanting to get to things. And I'm sure that has to do with maybe the mental hurdle of getting over the knee being healthy. Yeah,
there was a play in the first half where there was a loose ball.
Yeah.
And Reese Waters dove on it, but it was between Reese and Magoon. And I remember last year I sat next to a scout at the San Jose State game, and he was impressed with Magoon because he could shoot it, and he was big, and he could move, and he could handle the ball. But what really impressed him was there was a ball on the floor, and Magoon wasn't even the closest guy to it, and he dove headlong for it at the sideline, like the ball was going to go out of bounds. He still dove for it and kept it in bounds and tipped it. And the guy turned to me, he goes, wow, that's impressive to see a big guy get on the floor like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's another loose ball, and he just bent over to pick it up.
Yeah.
And that told me everything. It told me that, again, like you just said, he doesn't trust it. And I just don't know if there's any solution other than time. And again, they're only playing 1 game a week right now. I mean, he needs to play, 3 games in 3 days is too much. He needs 1 every 3 days. And I mean, you tell me, I don't know what the worst injury of your career was, but if you had a layoff, what's it like to come, it's one thing just to come back, but to come back at an elite level, what goes into that, and how long does it take?
I think the injury I can compare to his was a hamstring, and it's even probably worse because it's a muscle injury. So you feel a lot of times that you can go, but when it turned time to turn it up at that type of level, your body needs to be in tip-top shape, or you're just not going to be right. So it's in that particular injury, it's a matter of gauging how far you can go without setting yourself back. And when you first start off doing it, it's a tough game. You don't really know what your limitations are and how much you kind of have to kind of go through it. And I'm sure that's a little bit what Magoon Guath is going through right now. Now, on the flip side, there was the bright spot. We mentioned Tay Simmons. I mean, the other freshman for the Aztecs continues to play really well at that point guard position. I'm blown away with his poise at that guard position. Even in his first start against Utah Valley there, he just seems so poised.
Yeah, and Brian Dutch said something really interesting after the game. He said, look, he's a point guard, and he has to be able to make decisions, right? He's coming off the ball screens. You have to decide, do I want to refuse it? Do I want to, get into the pocket? Do I want to make the pass right away? Do I want to pull up and shoot? Do I want to look to the opposite corner at the guy lifting? There's all these things going on at once as soon as you trigger the ball screen. And he goes, we can show him stuff on film, but he goes, as a point guard, it's the hardest spot on the floor because it's instinct.
Yeah.
And there's only so much we can teach him. The rest of it is instinct. He has that instinct, but again, he just has to be in those situations over and over and over again. And you can see him game to game to game get more confidence, understanding where the ball needs to go, understanding, what angles to take. And again, he's another guy needs to play twice a week, and they're going to get that. I mean, coming up here, particularly in the league season. And so I think you're going to see guys like LZ and Magoon, a guy like Miles Bird, who's just completely in his head right now because he's just trying too hard.
Yeah.
Just play. You have plenty of games. You don't have to worry about this play making or breaking your season, or getting you in or out of the rotation if you're a younger guy. You're just going to be playing games and becoming fast and furious. And so I think, again, he's a guy who's really going to excel as we get into January and February.
Talking to Mark Zeigler here, San Diego Union Tribune on 97.3 The Fan. Aztecs play Lamar tonight at Viejas Arena. And I want to stick with Miles Bird because Chris and I were having this conversation last week. And it's kind of because he is in his head right now. Last year, he kind of tested the NBA scene. And so we were trying to figure out maybe, he's had a tough start to the season. Is there anything to him, maybe, like you just said, he's in his head and he's trying too hard, but is it because he has NBA sights and he's not really playing as well as he did last year so far?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot to do with it. I mean, if you put yourself in his shoes, he's going to be a top 40 pick probably in the NBA draft, but he's probably not going to get a guaranteed deal. And so the wise thing at the time with his advisors, his family, everybody around him said, look, if you're not going to get a guaranteed deal, you might as well come back to school. You're still going to make some money, probably just as much as you make or more than if you got stuck in the G League. And just work on some skills and lead this team. And he loves it at San Diego State, and he knew he was going to have a leadership role. And so he came back. But I think in the back of your mind now, when you have a tough start and you're like, oh my God, I blew it. I should have come out, or my pro career is going to get ruined. And it's hard to remember, the thing that Steve Fisher used to preach all the time is rising tides float all boats. It's something, it's written on the locker room wall, and it's something that he just says over and over again. And he's trying to remind kids, and it's hard when you're a young kid, look, individual stuff isn't going to matter. Us winning is what's going to get you places. And so just do things that help the team win. And so I think he's, it's just really hard to sort of process all that and kind of find your groove. Now, on top of that, in his defense, he had a badly sprained index finger on his shooting hand. He's had a hip problem. He's had an abdominal strain. And then he got the flu so bad he needed 2 IV bags last week and tried to play. He hasn't been in tip-top shape. He's getting closer to that now. And so I think, again, when you start seeing the games coming a little bit more frequently and he just relaxes a little bit, I think you'll see the old Miles Bird. I've definitely seen it in practice. He's shown flashes in games, and he's probably not that far away. But again, it's probably just incredibly frustrating for him in his heart. Brian Dutcher talks about it all the time. He says the whole key to basketball is playing through your frustration. It is in any sport.
Yep. Got to be at your best even when it's not going good. Mark Zeigler joins us here, Union Tribune. And Mark, I couldn't help but notice, as, a few guys weren't playing well and the rotation is deep, but it it does seem like they are having a hard time finding rhythm. And I think that's just kind of part of the early portion of the season. But I can only imagine that when 11 different guys are going in, it's tough to find rhythm. Now, it worked in their favor. They were able to get Tay Simmons in that game against Utah Valley. If that rotation wasn't as big, maybe he doesn't get an opportunity. But I imagine that is starting to be something that the staff is talking about a little bit as you get closer and closer to league play.
100%. Yeah. I mean, they're going to have to establish a rotation and probably shrink it a little bit. But the problem is nobody's really standing out. I mean, Tay Simmons was the guy who was 11th guy. He's a guy who, and he knew, he goes, look, I'm a freshman. I've got an NBA prospect starting in my position and a 6-year senior backing him up. What am I supposed to expect? And then all of a sudden, because Lagoon's, he has the flu and is a little bit banged up, isn't playing great. He gets some minutes and he does something with them. So now he deserves minutes. And, Jeremiah Odom's had some flashes. And then, you're not going to bench Lagoon. He's an NBA prospect. So they're going to have to figure these things out. And Brian Dutcher likes to say that the players sort it out ultimately. He doesn't. He goes, they just, they emerge. But I think they're going to have to probably shorten it a little bit, give guys some longer stretches in there and help them internally and individually get their rhythm instead of just going in and out, in and out.
Talking to Mark Zeigler here, San Diego Union Tribune. I'm going to take us to the pitch, from the hardwood to the pitch. And there's some news out there that Mo Salah, who is, I don't know if he's still with Liverpool or he's out of Liverpool.
He was out of Liverpool, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's rumors that he's going to be coming to MLS. And, of course, San Diego's mind goes immediately to bring him in. What are the chances of that, you think?
I was thinking of writing something later this week about that. I don't think the chances are very big at all. I mean, people draw the connection because he's maybe Egypt's greatest player ever, and the primary owner of SDFC is an Egyptian billionaire. So they just say, oh well, 1 + 1 = 2. But if you really drill down and start looking at it, he's under contract, right? So they're going to have to pay a transfer fee. I think a year and a half ago, Saudi Arabian team that really wants him because he's Muslim and he really fit in their league, offered Liverpool $150 million for him. And so he's not going to get 150 now because everybody knows he's leaving. But, he might still command 75 or 50. Even 50 is enormous for MLS team. I mean, this is a team that paid 12 and 5 in transfer fees last year for their 2 designated players in Anders Dreyer and Chucky Lozano. So that's another issue. He makes $20 million a year. I don't think they want to pay somebody $20 million a year. Their highest paid player is Chucky Lozano, and he makes 7, and then everyone else makes 1 or 2. And then he plays right wing. Well, that's Anders Dreyer's position, and other than Messi, Anders Dreyer is the best player in the league. And so you're going to kick him out so you can bring in Mo Salah, who might not even be as good for this league as he is. And then Mo Salah doesn't want to play any defense. He's been very open about that. He just feels like his offense will get affected if he has to track back and run so much. And so Liverpool changed his entire system last year to sort of allow him to sort of hang out and not have to come back. That's not going to work in a Mikey Vars system the way SDFC plays. So I don't think, if people want to draw that conclusion, but I just don't think it's going to happen unless the owner, Mohammed Mansour, just says, I don't care. I've always wanted him on on my team. I don't care what it costs. Go get him. But I just don't think that's going to happen.
Well, Mark, that's why we have you, man, because you just burst everybody's bubble that thought that might happen or could be likely happen. That we don't. And it's the funny part about the MLS here in San Diego. We're still learning the intricacies of how bringing players here, rosters here. So
it's different.
It is. We appreciate you clarifying that for us, and we always appreciate your time talking some Aztecs.
I say that, and then tomorrow will be breaking news. Mo Salah signing with him.
That's actually a good problem for you to have.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Mark, thank you for your time, man. Thank you. We'll talk to you again down the line.
Yep. Talk to you guys. See ya.
Mark Zeigler, San Diego Union Tribune, talking some Aztecs, and a little bonus question there from Mr. Skraby. I didn't know you had that in you, man. Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about this Mo Salah thing.
Yeah, sure you have. All guests on
I
97.3 The
have.
Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Off to break we go. Daily Gambit up next. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr. match, Skraby, Chris Ello Idol.
Skraby.
I almost messed up your last name.
Okay, it always happens.
I had to recover. Chris Ello Idol. What else? Just thinking about this. I heard my man, colleague, Ron Darling.
Oh, colleague Ron Darling.
Colleague. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a colleague. He kind of mentioned it. Them letting Pete Alonso roll basically has you paying Juan Soto to get free passes because they're not going to pitch to Juan Soto. The only reason why they pitched to him this year is because Pete Alonso was hitting behind him.
Yeah. They're going to have to find someone else.
They had to pitch to him last year.
Yeah.
Or the year before because Aaron Judge was behind him.
Yep. And the reason that, Juan Soto's so good at walking, he's not going to go outside the zone to get stuff.
That's just his style. But yeah, it does free up some money to go get somebody. They got to be the money you would have had to pay Pete Alonso is now free to go get someone else.
Do you, we were talking about Edwin Diaz, that was the name I'm looking for. Edwin Diaz was not happy with the Mets not notifying about Devin Williams. Do you think that they had to? Do you think they talked to Juan Soto about not bringing back?
No.
Pete Alonso?
No.
Really?
I don't know that happens all the time. I'm sure he was kept abreast of how negotiations were going, but I'm sure that they may have told him it doesn't look good right now. But I don't know if he was like in on every. That doesn't happen all the time, as much as people may think.
Trevor said Kyle Tucker to the Mets.
Wouldn't be bad.
Both right fielders, though.
That's true.
Maybe does Juan Soto want to be a right fielder, or does he just want to hit?
It's a good question. I think he wants to play the field. A lot of guys, because I don't know that they make players anymore that grow up just being DHs. Like,
yeah,
there was an era of baseball where it was like you can go out and get like an actual DH,
like a guy who just hits.
Right? Can you name maybe Kyle Schwarber?
And Shohei pitches now.
He's not really. He wouldn't have to be a DH if he was not a pitcher, right? He would be playing the outfield
somewhere.
He's just, And listen, to your point, there is reports that Mets never made an offer to Alonso. Maybe they did tell one, hey, we're not going to bring him back. Doesn't look like you're going to bring him back. So
I guess I sometimes think about it.
I just saw
Phil,
something.
I know.
So
it just
happy.
made me stop in my tracks.
Watching Phillip Rivers throw the football for the first time in a long time brings a smile to my
He's
face.
44. He's older than 13 head coaches, I believe. He's also a grandpa now. Is he the first grandpa to ever?
Did he not have? I feel like he never really had facial hair when he was playing. Like he was always clean shaven. I felt.
I think you're right. He's got a little bit of stubble there.
His face is a little chunky.
He still looks the same.
He does still look the same. He got a little chunk to his face though.
Well, he's gonna need that when someone crushes him. I mean, come on.
Maybe so.
Do you think I would be so afraid that I'm 44 and someone's gonna break me in half?
I wouldn't be afraid, but it'd be like the last thing I was looking forward to. Like that first hit is coming, and the thought of like thinking about it until it happens, that would be exhausting.
He's also a great trash talker without swearing.
I wonder, is he going to be able to like jump back into it? Because you're right. He used to have a lot of defensive linemen very pissed off.
Oh, some of his mic'd up moments are great.
One where he had the Jaguar dude so mad.
Yeah. He doesn't swear, which makes everybody else more mad because he's a great trash talker. But they're reporting right now that he could start Sunday. I didn't know if it was going to be this Sunday, but why not? You brought him in.
Wild.
It is
absolutely wild. All right, let's get to our bets in the Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We have some bets to review from yesterday and some ones to make tonight. But first, this hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by SDG&E. Take control of your energy use and help save this winter. Use large appliances outside of on-peak hours of 4 to 9 p.m. and unplug devices when not in use. Find more tips at sdge.com/simple steps. sdge.com/simple steps. All right. Last night, Villanova was at Michigan, and we both picked Michigan, even though they were 17.5-point favorites, Tony. Michigan won 89-61. They're just blowing out everyone.
They're probably now when you see a big spread, if Michigan's tagged to it, you feel pretty good about it.
You feel really good
I
about it.
hadn't felt that comfortable with one of those in quite some time. And they actually covered.
They did. 28 points right there for them. So they are on fire. Next game we bet on Florida at UConn. You went Florida or Fla. I went UConn.
Oh, they barely covered.
Yeah, UConn 3.5-point favorites. They won by 4. Now, Norman Powell, San Diego guy, over under 27.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. We all said over. He had 21.7 rebounds, 2 assists, so that's 30. We win that one. The Heat Magic over under 234.5 for the total score. Both of us went over. It was 117-108, so it was 225.
Disappointing.
Yes, and then the New York Knickerbockers minus 5.5 against the Raptors last night. Tony went Raptors. I went Knicks. Knicks won by 16, 117-101.
Thanks, Raptors.
Yeah. I don't even know who's on the Raptors anymore, to be honest. Can you name me one player on the? Is Van
Barnes? I think his name is.
Van Vliet still on?
Van Vliet is on the Rockets, but he's out for the year. He tore his knee during the offseason, so he's not playing this year.
All right, that's the only guy I remember from that Kawhi Leonard team.
He's no longer there.
Okay. All right, let's go to tonight. Lamar at San Diego State. San Diego State 17.5-point favorite. Tony.
Yeah, listen. To be frank, the Aztecs haven't shown that they can put away a team yet. I mean, even the Utah Valley game was only 11. I think they were favored by more than that. So for that reason, I'm going to say Lamar keeps it inside of 17.5.
Just to be the contrarian, I will go with San Diego State, but I think you are more likely to win this bet. Now, the total points for San Diego State alone, over under 77.5 points.
They hit 77 on the nose last game.
Yes.
I'm going to say they'll be a tick better. I'll take the over.
Over? I'm going to say over as well. Spurs at the Lakers today.
Wemby must not be playing.
Let me see.
Because 7.5 seems...
Yeah, the Lakers are favorite. Is LeBron and Luka and all those guys playing?
I think they're playing.
So that's probably it. It doesn't say anything, but it looks like he's out.
Doesn't say anything, but it looks like
how
does it not say anything and look like he's out?
It doesn't say anything about a return. It says, when is he back?
Never mind. I'm going to check.
Okay, you do that.
And he's out.
Okay. I'm going Lake Show. I know where you're going.
You already know, buddy.
Now, Luka Doncic.
New
50
dad?
over.
New dad?
Oh, I did not know that he was a new dad.
I think a new dad second time.
Okay. I'm learning a lot about Luka. How old is Luka? He's like late 20s?
26, 27.
Man, people are just so far ahead of me in life, Tony. It's funny.
Don't think about that.
52 over under points plus rebounds plus assists. Tony. On the year, he's averaging 53.3.
I'm going to say under tonight.
Under. I want to go over. Because he's new dad power.
Yeah.
All right. I looked ahead to the National League MVP for 2026. What? Yeah, I just wanted to see where things at.
Just jamming baseball down our throat again.
Fernando Tatis Jr. is number 4 at plus 1,200. Would you make that bet for him to win the MVP today?
So if I put 100 down, I get how much?
You get 1,200.
Huh. Yeah,
I'm doing it.
I do that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, that's it.
I'll put up a C note for Toddy to win me 1,200.
Ooh, the World Baseball Classic odds are out. Who do you think is favored?
Dominican.
No, the USA.
Are they?
Plus 160. Have you heard this lineup for the USA yet? It's pretty good.
It's always pretty good.
Well, I know it's the World Baseball Classic, but I feel like it's better than the last edition's team.
Give me the lineup.
I'm getting it right now.
So you don't even have it in front of you. You just
So you got Kyle Schwarber, you got Gunnar Henderson, you got Bobby Witt Jr., Cal Raleigh, Corbin Carroll, Pete Crow Armstrong, Paul Skeens, Aaron Judge. That's all. Bryce Terang, Will Smith. That's a pretty. I think Pete Alonso might be in it.
We should be the favorites. This is a good lineup. And you got Skeens. You got some good pitching.
Japan's plus 290, Dominican Republic plus 450, poor Brazil and Nicaragua. Oh yeah, Czech Republic and Great Britain plus 10,000.
Now that's a bet right there. That's
choose
a bet.
Great Britain to win the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, that would be something. All right, let's get to break. On the other side, an interesting conversation developing in college sports. It's kind of, I want to say it's the first of its kind. No, it is the first of its kind. We've talked about it in other circumstances, but this is the first school to kind of dip their toes in the private equity area. We'll explain on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris.
From the 8.
Stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
You idiot. Typical tandem student right there. I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy. Fun, huh? You need help with anything? Okay, I'm nervous. Stand up, stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
One judge. Oh, no, I guess there's 2 judges. You get to wear a wig today.
I don't want to.
That doesn't matter. You're a judge, so you got to wear it. Sports Court coming up next. But we delve into the realm of private equity cash.
I don't want to.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to. Sorry, it's part of the show. Matter of fact, you produced this show, so this is your topic.
Oh, yeah, producer.
You specifically sent this topic to me this morning, so you got to do it.
It's producer decision.
Producer decision, as you've been making a lot of those here this week. We talked a little bit about it as it pertained to the Big Ten earlier this year. They were talking about a all-encompassing conference.
Yes.
Private equity type deal.
Yeah.
We're talking billions.
Yeah.
With a B.
Yes.
But not ironically, Michigan and who was it? Ohio State?
Yeah, I believe it was Ohio State.
I think those two. No, it wasn't Michigan. It was USC and Ohio State balked at the idea of this private equity. So it's kind of gone away. Well, in steps the Utah Utes.
Yes, Utes.
My cousin Vinny. This reminds me of the 2 Utes.
I forgot about that.
What did you say? The 2 Utes. Huh? Did you mean youth? Anyway,
that was great.
Go see the movie.
That was great.
One of my favorites. Utah Utes have jumped in full head of steam into this private equity. They have basically created a business that will, and they are in. So let me read through because it's
kind of complicated,
pretty extensive.
Yeah, it's complicated.
I'm gonna read you the reasons why it is promising, and then I'll read you the reasons why it could, maybe not work. I'm working to try to find the story. Give me a second as I pull it up.
Well, while you're pulling it up, it's basically Utah created their own company so that this other company can handle their marketing business, things like that. They're still going to be able to, Utah, the university is still going to be able to fire coaches. And
here's how it works.
Like
the school started a new company called the Utah Brand and Entertainment. The Utes will own most of this company, but Atro Capital will own part of it. The new company will handle some things most athletic departments do, like ticketing, events, sponsorships, and NIL, but try to do them even better to make more money for the school and the investment firm.
You know what I'm in now.
Now, the Utes would remain in control, as Skraby said, of the big decisions like hiring, firing coaches, and scheduling.
And distributing NIL payments.
No, not distributing. Although the company will distribute it NIL.
Oh, yeah.
The school will be in charge of who gets how much.
This is one of those stories where I need my terminology to be correct.
Yes, you do. The company will be under the university's foundation and chaired by the Utes athletic director. So they get to kind of have the majority of people that they get to pick. So, in case some slickness goes down, they got the upper hand on the votes. Because, when it starts getting to these private equities. There's
hostile takeovers,
exactly
things like
exactly. The company will submit audits to Utah's trustees, and the university will have the ability to buy back its share of the company from Otro Capital. How much money is involved? No specific dollar figures were mentioned during the board presentation and discussion, but school president Taylor Randall said the platform will allow Utes to raise hundreds of millions of dollars over time. This is not a one-time transaction, Randall said.
So they're just going to infuse cash into them as much as they need it.
The risk. Because financial details are either not yet finalized or not public, we can't fully access them. This is a story written by The Athletic, by the way. But generally, private equity groups don't get into partnerships to lose money. What happens if their venture doesn't make as much as both sides expect? Foundation CEO David Anderson acknowledged the tension between commercial success and the university's mission. Utah's administration said in the presentation that the school would be able to veto a sponsorship opportunity that doesn't align with its values. But how might that work in practice, right? Can you imagine? I don't know. Let's say Barstool Sports wants to do something. They want to, and that doesn't align with the Utah Utes values.
But
right?
Ocho Capital says
But
this is going to make us a boatload of money.
This is a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, what gives, right? I mean, Ocho Capital's putting a lot of his money into it, and they also want a return on investment. This is where it could get dicey.
Very dicey.
And in this case, it seems like this. I'm not. Ocho Capital is out of New York. I don't know if it's one of the bigger private equity firms or whatnot, but can you imagine in like the Big Ten situation, that's going to be billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And so like a lot of cooks in that kitchen, which is why it kind of fell apart ultimately, at least to this point. But this could be the way we bring this up because this could be the way that schools can get involved. How this came up is because once the lawsuit went into play and schools opted into this program where everybody pretty much gets a full, you got to fund that. And how do you fund that? Remember, Utah Utes were once a Pac-12 school that then moved into the Big Ten. And I think they moved into they moved Big 10 or Big 12. They moved out of the Pac-12 when everybody else did. And I'm not sure if they went to the Big 10 or the Big 12. But nonetheless,
Big 12.
They went to the Big 12. So, even a school like Utah that has been in a big conference for a while now has to try to cover that cost. And this is a way that I think you're going to see a lot of schools do it. Now, the good part about this is that the good part about this for the smaller schools could be that this is your way.
This is your ticket
to actually compete.
Yeah.
But there are risks with that as well. And now this deal, if I'm not mistaken, is for a certain amount of time. When that deal's up, they could decide to part ways, or they could say, hey, this was lucrative for both of us. But this could be the kind of new road that schools are traveling. You already know the Big Ten is going to be taken care of probably as a whole when it's all said and done.
Oh, yeah.
But for some of these smaller schools, and I'm not saying Utah's a small school,
but it's not in the SEC. It's not getting SEC money.
Exactly. And so I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, it does seem initially slimy, but it could work. If you have some good people behind it, it could actually work.
Can we just please put college athletics first in this whole thing over money? But I think this is it's not my favorite way to go, but I think it's probably the only way to go for some of these teams. The article did say that they are doing this because they cannot compete with SEC and Big Ten schools. The one thing I do like about this is that Utah decided to go in this direction because they didn't want to raise student fees and they didn't want to cut money from research projects within the university.
Sports, but they also didn't want to raise the
student fees
price,
and they didn't want to cut research projects. They didn't want to take money away from something that's actually useful. And so they're doing this to make sure that they can still cover everything else they need to, but they don't necessarily have to make those tough decisions of trimming what you don't want to trim. I think this is going to end up being a disaster for anyone who gets involved, just because capital investment firms Ocho Capital, as the article says, is in it for one reason. All they care about is the return on investment. And if they don't get a return on investment, they're going to get angry.
Skraby.
And they're going to take you down to the docks.
The article goes on and says, what's the broader relationship between private equity capital and college sports? Schools and conferences have been looking into this type of deal for a long time. Utah is the first to do it, and it's been in the works for 2 years. It didn't just come to this. This has been
this is big time.
Florida State seriously explored a similar idea in 2023, but stopped short of executing anything. The Big 12 previously considered conference-wide, kind of the same way that the Big 10 did. Deal in 24 and 25, but never garnered enough support within the conference. As Brett Yormark, we heard from him.
Oh, he was fired up yesterday.
Dissing the Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was fired up.
He said, we're just not ready to jump in just yet. It's coming, though.
I think that's smart.
It's coming
on his part.
The Big Ten, as we talked about, spent more than a year exploring similar opportunities before non-traditional investors emerged this summer. So they got some investors. It just didn't turn out to be the big one. UC Investment in Nonprofit Public Pension, an arm of UC System, offered Big Ten members $2.4 billion. This is what we talked about earlier in the year in capital in exchange for 10% stake in a newly formed company that would hold the league's media and sponsorships right. The deal is now on hold due to the opposition from 2 members. Yes, I got Ohio State wrong. I had it right the first time. It was Michigan and USC. Those were the 2 teams.
I didn't help you with that, so.
No, you did.
I just agreed.
Board Chairman Mark Bernstein has called the proposal akin to a payday loan. So,
he's saying it's like a check cashing place.
He's not feeling it. So,
who said that?
That's the Michigan board chairman.
Okay. Well, you got bigger problems. He's got bigger problems at this point. Apparently. David makes a good point on the chat. If this works, what stops Big Ten and SEC from doing the same thing and bringing even more money? I think it's because it's capped at $20.5 million.
Right. That is the cap for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, some of these schools won't have a problem getting to it, but a lot of these schools are going to need this type of help in order to get there. But it is capped for everybody. You can't spend more than that. Now, listen, you already know, as I know, there are going to be some teams that try to skirt that somehow. They're going to try to figure out a way. They're already trying to figure out ways. I guarantee it.
Oh, of course they are. They're trying to get away, just like everybody's trying to get around the salary cap in different sports.
Yes.
I think this is interesting, but San Diego State is a school that could really benefit from something like this.
First thing I thought, I was like, man,
as long as you can find the right capital investment group,
man, that would that could change everything.
Put a little bit of money into it. You got now you're paying players enough to come to the school. It kind of levels the playing field for San Diego State.
Let me tell you what, if San Diego State found hundreds of $millions in a private equity that worked, this place would, I have no doubt, would blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be one of the top destinations in all of sports.
And then you got Rocco trying to hunt down JD Wicker when he's trying to get his money back, from Rocco's capital. On the chat, how long until schools transition to a system where the players are purely employees and they drop the charade of being students?
Great question.
It's minor league sports at this point.
I mean, again, I think because we're talking about the money the way we are, it does feel like that. But this is, yes, the players are part of it, but this is a bigger slice of the pie for it all and how all of the mechanisms work in college sports. We got to get to break. When we come back, we get the wigs out. Sports Court on the other side. Back at it live, 3:37 on the clock. Your Honor, Skraby.
Yes.
Nice hair.
Thank you.
This is the white with the brown side mullet joint is strong. Strong look, my friend.
Oh.
All right, so we got a few moving pieces here coming up. MIchael Flix will join us in the 5 o'clock hour.
5:40.
Talk a little high school basketball. After this segment, Mount Carmel opening game today, 4 o'clock. I will be heading to watch my two daughters.
Football?
No, they don't play football. Yes.
Well, we talked about it last week because President Trump.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, we have approved uses of President Trump on the show now, and this was approved use of President Trump.
Okay.
He said he wanted to get us to call soccer football, and I've said, you know what? I've thought about this for a really long time. So do you think we should change the name of football or soccer to football and change football to something else?
No.
You and Chris.
I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid.
What do you mean?
It's football and football.
So it's the emphasis on the syllable.
1,000%. Look how it's spelled. Football.
Okay.
It's that simple. We don't need to change anything.
Moving on. But you're going to see your daughter.
I'm going to see my daughter play. Skraby will handle. There is no Chronicles today, so don't hang out too long. You know, Skraby's not going to be here to support you guys.
No, I'll take you. We have a 2-hour Chronicles from 4 to 6 with some Big Five with Tony.
So
and
it's
Michael
not the Chronicles
Flix.
actually, because there's a Big Five in there. There's MIchael Flix in there.
It's a fusion show of Skraby show and Michael Flix and Gwynn and Chris.
It's just Gwynn and Chris. Do we need traffic before
yes, we do.
We start our first of all, what's on the docket today?
For our sports court?
That's the docket.
Okay.
Court.
A son really loves watching Shaq play, and so his dad, he's trying to break something. I'll get to it.
Okay.
A daughter who goes to her friend's house, and the dad is not so sure about the other dad.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
A son who's a huge NBA fan, but his dad hates who he's a fan of.
Oh, okay.
And then a golfer that's also a scammer.
All right. Well, let me get my gavel, and we can get going. Hold on.
Oh, you got to get the gavel.
Order. Let's go.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury.
This update is brought to you by the California Office of Traffic Safety. Somebody broke down on the 5. It's southbound, right at 6th Avenue. The right lane is blocked, and delays go all the way back to Pacific Highway. And then on the northbound side of the 5 at Canyon Road, there's another collision, and some debris on the 52 westbound at Nass Boulevard takes out the left lane. In 2023, 1,355 people were killed in alcohol-related crashes throughout California. Driving under the influence of anything is dangerous, illegal, and has serious consequences. Don't be the I in DUI. Go safely, California. I'm Sue Aller with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Do you have a sports issue, San Diego? Do you need a third party to make a decision? The guys have put on their robes and picked up their gavels.
All rise. Here comes the judge.
Gwynn and Chris Sports Court starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. We got 4 court cases, so let's get into the first one. And here we go. My son loves Shaq, watches YouTube videos on the daily of him, but now he is obsessed with trying to break the backboard of our hoop in the backyard. It's a kid's hoop, so he can dunk and all that, but I have seen him hanging on the rim and jumping up and down. The hoop is going to break. He's going to get seriously injured, and I'm not going to want to buy a new hoop. He doesn't know all this, though. Tony, do I just let him do his thing and get hurt?
I need more information. So is this like one of those like plastic hoops that you kind of like build?
I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. So,
like one of those. Yeah.
Like one. Okay. Yeah. I started to say these hoops aren't that much, but it's been a long time since I've had one, so they might be a little bit more in today's day and age.
More
expensive?
Oh, I'm sure they are. Let me see.
I think you just gotta see. I'm a big proponent in letting my kids find out why I'm like telling them they shouldn't do something.
Like, I'm assuming it's one of these adjustable guys.
Yeah, that one you can get a little hurt on. See,
So
I was thinking more like
$76.
I
know,
a
like
toy.
this one.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you can get too hurt on those type of deals.
Look at this kid. He's having so much fun in this picture.
Yeah, he's standing and dunking. I just think you got to let your kids experiment. You know, if he really does a gorilla dunk and Shaq, hangs up on it and it breaks, he's gonna have to figure out how to brace himself. But I bet you one thing, he won't be hanging on that bad boy the next time.
Oh no. And when you don't have one, he won't be hanging on it as well.
That is the lesson. Like, hey, I told you stop hanging on it. You kept hanging on it. Not only did you bust your ass, you also don't have a new hoop.
Yeah, we're not getting one.
We're not getting one.
You could save up for it.
Right. Lesson learned. Lesson taught, at least. Maybe not learned, but it's taught.
Obviously, I don't have kids, but I think one of the hardest things for me when I am a parent is going to be letting them do things that I know is going to be bad for them.
I think it's the hardest thing for all parents.
Okay.
It is. And I think our parents were naturally better at it than our generation. We are like, and I find myself stepping in sometimes and knowing it's probably better for them to let them go through it, and figure it out.
Yeah.
But you don't want to see your kids messed up, hurt, sad, any of those things. So yeah, but sometimes you got to be the bad guy. It's just how it is.
If they're being idiots and hanging on the rim and jumping up and
I don't know, he's being idiots. He's exploring. He's seeing Shaq do it. Why can't I?
I mean, I thought that was amazing when Shaq
Me
did
too.
that as a kid.
Who didn't want to dunk like that?
That's true. I think our
So what was the question, by the way?
Do I just let him do his thing and get hurt?
Yeah. Let the young man do his thing, and maybe it breaks, maybe it doesn't. If it breaks, a lesson is in store.
Oh, a lesson is in store. Jocelyn says it's okay if they're mad at you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is okay.
All right, next one. I have a daughter who spends a lot of time, and this isn't sports related, but I have a daughter who spends a lot of time at her best friend's house. Lately, she has been mentioning some really concerning things to me. The last couple times I've shown to pick her up, I have noticed the dad seems intoxicated. Obviously, have not asked about it, but my daughter was in the grocery store the other day, and we walked by the liquor section, and she said, "Blank's dad drinks that all the time." I don't think anything nefarious is happening, but I am feeling uncomfortable sending my 9-year-old daughter over to a house where her dad gets S-faced. My husband doesn't seem to think it's a big deal. Tony, again, you're up first. Do you think I should bring my concerns up to my daughter's friend's dad?
Not yet.
Oh. Are you not letting your daughter go over there anymore?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
That's
I don't know that you need to go. Maybe there's a way that you can not let your daughter go over there and kind of investigate in between to figure out what exactly is going on.
When the dad opens the door, he's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Not going back over there. Especially, listen, I hate to be that person, but especially sending a young child, girl, just too much.
Too much can happen.
Too much craziness in this world right now. And,
You're right.
Certainly don't want to accuse anybody of something they're not doing, but alcohol opens the door for something to happen that, you wouldn't feel good about.
I 100% agree with you on that, but as a recovering alcoholic who has been S-faced many times in my life, I wasn't
now,
interested.
hold on. I just want to point this out.
Yeah.
The S-face part came from dad.
Yes.
Saying
or
it.
mom.
Wait, from mom? Oh, mom is writing this?
Mom's writing this.
It came from mom writing this.
Yes.
There's a difference between, having a glass of wine and being
totally.
S-faced.
Totally.
So,
But what I was saying is, like, if this guy's an alcoholic, and I can't obviously put myself in that position, but for me, it was all about just me drinking by myself.
Right. Now
That's all I
now
cared
we're
about.
involving kids.
Now there's kids involved, and there's
Let me tell
other
you
people's
something.
kids involved.
I was not allowed to spend a night at people's house when I was a kid.
Really?
No. Mom was not with that at all. And so I naturally, when I had kids, I felt the same way. I had to kind of loosen up on that. Even though, quite frankly, we living in crazier times than when I was growing up. But I've had to kind of relax some of that. But yeah, man, if alcohol's involved and you're supposed to be, if I send my 9-year-old child over there, I'm expecting that there are some adults there watching and making sure that my 9-year-old isn't getting into something that they shouldn't be getting into. And if you're throwing them back, I think you're less effective.
You are definitely less effective. People on the chat, just don't let your daughter go over.
Yeah.
Control what you can control. If you're uncomfortable, don't send your kid, but you can't
100%.
change that dad's behavior.
Right. That's why I said I don't know if I'm taking it to the house, but I'm certainly not letting my child go over there.
Jocelyn has a good point, but if you ever have a gut feeling about something like that, go with your gut. I agree. Follow your gut all the time if you feel like something's up. But I think the question, do you think I should bring my concerns up to my daughter's friend's dad? No.
I
Not
don't
him.
think so.
And he's not the right guy to talk to about it either, because he could be like, I don't get drunk. As he's like drinking out of the bottle. All right, next one. My son is a huge NBA fan, and years ago he claimed Ja Morant as his favorite player. You saw Tony's face. This was before all the trouble he got in and still gets in. The problem is my son doesn't really understand what kind of guy he is and goes everywhere with his Ja Morant jersey or t-shirt. I don't really want him looking up to him, but is there anything I could do? Should I steer him away from Ja Morant? Before you give your probably spot-on answer, I'll give my spot-on answer. Just go buy him another jersey of another great player and try to switch him over to that, because I understand why you don't want Ja Morant to be the guy that your kid's looking up to, but you can't just be like, hey, listen, you can't cheer for this guy because he's a bad guy. The kid's not going to understand why he's a bad guy.
Can I take
I just
want to just jump in here. I think it's great that our kids have someone to look up to in terms of that, but you should also be explaining to your kids that these people are human and are fallible like all of us are.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
Right? And so that when one of these situations happen, it's not as completely unexpected for your kids, right? I mean, as they are idolizing these individuals, I know for me, my parents always let me know, listen, these guys are great at what they do or whatever it is you like, but they also they make mistakes, they do things that they shouldn't, just like all of us do, right? And so I think that lessens the kind of superhero deal. You still can look up to them, but ultimately, you should have some role models like your parents to kind of follow in, to see right and wrong right in front of you on an everyday basis.
Now, if the son isn't really aware of what Ja Morant does off the court, but he's really good on the court, is there a problem there? Because he's just cheering for the player. He's not cheering for the person.
I don't think so at this particular time. Sometimes this kid is young enough to where he doesn't need to be introduced to the other stuff. Now, you can only do that so long, obviously, as your kid gets more access, more questions will come up, and you'll have to be able to answer those. But I think for a young kid, they don't need to know all this stuff at that particular time, right? I'm sure there were a lot of kids growing up loving Wilt Chamberlain. I'm sure their parents were not telling them what Wilt was doing, when he wasn't on the court.
No, I'm sure they weren't. When I was growing up, Michael Irvin got caught up in that whole thing.
Yeah.
And since I'm a 49ers fan, they always beat the 49ers. I was so pumped up that he was arrested. I was like, he's a criminal! He's a criminal! Get him in jail! I was so excited.
That's the flip side of that.
That is the
when
flip
it's
side
the
of
opposite
that.
side.
Yeah. All right, last one. I play lots of golf, and one of my side hustles is being a single golfer and then joining up with groups. I don't do this every time, but if I'm paired up with someone who's a trash talker, I like to start making bets on the course once I realize these trash talkers are not as good as they say they are. I purposefully play a little bad to start, but then I turn it on. I am scamming them, yes.
This is called a hustle.
A hustle.
Yes.
He calls it scamming.
Yeah, well, you can call it that too.
But no one knows that I'm doing this. I am starting to kind of feel bad, and my conscience is getting the best of me. Is it wrong for me to scam trash-talking golfers?
Listen, we all saw this in White Man Can't Jump. This is a classic hustle.
Yep.
And quite frankly, if you're not that good at golf, you should not be talking trash.
You're right.
This is how this kind of stuff, this is how it happened in White Man Gets Shot. You start talking trash, they got a ringer in the crowd that looks like he's sorry, not actually sorry, and you can get God for your money. This is kind of the golf version of that. First of all, this is a true hustle because he said it's his side hustle where he shows up as a single golfer and will hop into a foursome or a threesome, become the fourth, and kind of play it out. What if they don't talk trash though? Does he just play around the golf?
That's
just
a great
normal?
Question. I guess maybe, but
or does he just?
I
or
feel
is he hustling them every time?
I feel like this.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
which is why his conscience is bothering.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's hustling good people. He's hustling bad people.
He's just hustling.
He's just hustling. It's an income for him at this point. This would be fun though. This would be really fun.
Don't get caught.
No, because then
you saw what happened in White Man Can Jump. My man went to his car, got his gun.
Yeah,
he was gonna shoot everybody.
Yeah, it was not good for White Men Can't Jump in that situation. It's not good for this guy either. You get the wrong person, you're putting yourself in a major danger.
Yeah, they got clubs. You get a real crazy person, they got clubs.
I would see Chris would be a perfect person to pull these scams because you see his swing and you're like, this guy is not good. And then you start seeing him play. He's got sorry, Chris, old guy golf game, which is just steady, easy down the middle.
I will say I went to a luncheon yesterday before I came to work, and one of the questions was asked, how would I rank the three of us in golfing?
Oh.
And I was very honest. I said, I'm last. But I would say it would be Skraby and Chris. And someone said, how would Chris feel about that? I was like, I don't know. I think Chris would say the same thing, but he might not.
He has said it in the past before. But Chris is not a bad golfer.
And he's playing a lot more now, too.
But he's also bogey golfing, which doesn't... It's not an actual
your
thing.
favorite.
Oh, yeah, I shot a 78 in bogey golf. How many bogeys did you get? 9? Okay, you shot a 80, whatever it is, 86, 87.
Yeah, your math isn't that good either, buddy.
Couldn't do it that fast.
All right, that's the sports court. Take this itchy wig off now. Skraby will take over.
Yeah, there's a rumor that just popped up on the chat. I'm going to talk about Padres trade. So.
Okay. You guys are going to get a dose of that when we return. We're Gwynn and Chris.
It's not Gwynn or Chris. It is just Skraby for the rest of the day. I lied, actually. We do have a big five that I did with Tony, and MIchael Flix and Tony caught up earlier, and they're going to bring you all the high school basketball coverage at 5:40 p.m. So a little bit of an extended Skraby show / Gwynn and Chris show here on 97.3 The Fan. We'll get into that rumor in just a second, but we are not going to do any sort of trivia game right now. I apologize. I do not have any trivia to play, and I've tried to do these games by myself, and they always end up being not very good. So we're just going to skip it today. We'll get back to Chris versus the Fans tomorrow, and we will go from there. The prize, though, is a grand prize, a shot at the grand prize. 2 tickets to New Kids on the Block in Las Vegas on June 26th, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and a $100 gas card. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com if you're a blockhead. So, winter meetings, day 3. And I think these winter meetings were pretty tame. There wasn't crazy news. Like, I remember when the winter meetings were here in San Diego, I think it was 2022. There was all that news of Aaron Judge being in San Diego and then Arson Judge going to the Giants and all that. There was a lot of news about Shohei Ohtani. There was a lot of big names, and there was a lot of news made and rumors made out of the winter meetings. But this year, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, we've only had really 3 big contracts given out at the winter meetings. Pete Alonso, if you don't know, he signed with the Orioles this morning, 5 years, $155 million. So he is not going to be, obviously, with the Mets anymore. He will be in Baltimore. And then yesterday you had Kyle Schwarber, and you had Kyle Schwarber signed a 5-year, $150 million deal. And then why am I always forgetting about the last one? I always forget about the last contract that was given out. So let's see. Well, I'm trying to remember the last contract that was given out. Here's another interesting fact about the Kyle Schwarber negotiation process. So apparently the Orioles were really looking for a big bat, because the rumors are that the Orioles matched the Phillies' offer to Kyle Schwarber. So they went in with the 5 years, $150 million that the Phillies ended up paying Kyle Schwarber. And then you have Pete Alonso. So they went right after Pete Alonso. So they were either going to get Kyle Schwarber, or they were going to use their backup plan, which happens to be Pete Alonso, which is not the worst drop-off in the world, because Pete Alonso has power, maybe not as much power as Kyle Schwarber, but he definitely has power. So I could see why they wanted to go in this direction, and they even gave him $5 million more than Kyle Schwarber. So they were prepared to spend money. Now, a few things came to mind there, because the Orioles just went through a sale of their team, and so you see this new ownership group spending money, which is a good thing, because here in San Diego, we all know there's the sale of the team pending, or at least they're shopping the team. So things could happen, but you might be a little afraid of the future. Will the new owner spend money? This is a good situation for the Orioles. And so I like to see that a new owner comes in and starts spending money for the Orioles. It makes me feel a little bit better about the situation. But also for Kyle Schwarber, here are some of the other offers made to him. You heard that the Reds made an offer. We also heard the Pirates made an offer, but the Reds were at 5 years. However, they were at $125 million. So $25 million less than what he ended up taking. And then the Pirates, remember when we talked about the Pirates? They were the Pirates were putting their best foot forward and trying to bring in a big generational player to make the Pirates a team for the future. Well, the contract that they reportedly offered was 4 years and $120 million. So it's not like it's a nothing contract, but it's also, yeah, sure, you put in your best foot forward, but if you really wanted to, you should have offered something like the Orioles, $155 million. So I don't buy for 1 second that the Pirates ever wanted or thought Kyle Schwarber was coming to their team. And I don't know. We talked about it on the Skraby show last night. Some of these teams, we need a salary floor in baseball. And I explained it much more in depth last night. So if you want to hear that, go to the Skraby show from December 9th. I think it's around like 6:30 or something. But the salary floor is the problem because you have teams. Yes, the Pirates did offer 4 years, $120 million, but we all knew that was never going to be taken. And so if you're going to try and get these teams, if there's going to be some sort of playing field, and by the way, the last guy who signed that I forgot was Edwin Diaz. He signed with the Dodgers for $23 million a year over the next 3 seasons. So if you want the Edwin Diaz's of the world to maybe go to a team like the Reds or the Pirates, or if you want Kyle Schwarber to go to one of these teams, you have to make a salary floor in baseball. And the reason would be because if you're forcing these teams to at least spend a certain amount of money, then it will open up more opportunities for the bigger name players that are going to make big money to have more offers. Right now, I don't know this for sure, but there was like 2 or 3 teams in on Edwin Diaz. Maybe if Edwin Diaz, if there was a salary floor and a team needed to spend, maybe a team like the Pirates would have signed Edwin Diaz to a 3-year, $69 million deal because they, A, needed to get to the salary floor, and B, it'll make them competitive. But that's how I'm trying to make it competitive. I'm trying to make it so that, because the top teams that are spending, there's only really 4 or 5 teams that are spending big money. The Dodgers, Yankees, you got the Blue Jays, you got the why am I forgetting? The Rangers had a ton on the books, but you get what I'm saying. There's only a couple teams at the top, not a couple teams, like 3 or 4 teams at the top that can afford to do this. But when you are forcing teams to spend money to get to a salary floor, I think some of these players would spread out across baseball instead of all ending up in the same spot, which is what we're seeing right now with the Dodgers. And also last night, I said, I'm not going to complain about the Edwin Diaz thing, because last year I saw firsthand that even if you have or purchase a super team, it doesn't mean that you're going to automatically win a division title. The Padres were a game up, I believe, August 23rd last season. They were a game up on the Dodgers. And I said it before the year ended, and I will continue to think this, but the fact that they did not win that division last year, the National League West, I think it's going to haunt them for a very long time, because they had a path to the NLCS, and it didn't have to go through Chicago. They would be home to the Reds, and then they would be playing the Brewers. So that's one of the biggest failures of last year, is that you found yourself in a spot to take the division and you didn't. And so that's why when I think about Edwin Diaz getting signed by the Dodgers, it's not me being angry that they're signing all the players. It's more like, okay, yeah, that stinks. That's tough. There's a lot more that you have to go through now in order to win a game against the Dodgers. But at the same time, I mean, we saw Tanner Scott pitch terribly last year. Edwin Diaz is not the model of consistency. He can be all over the place. So that's why I'm not going all in on it's unfair that the Dodgers are signing these guys, because the Padres at some point need to be able to win games, and win games without having to spend the $400 million. Anyway, I never even got to the rumor. I went off in a totally different direction, but here is the rumor that I saw on the chat, and I have no idea how much legs to give this. I'm going to give it very little legs. We're just going to discuss it because I have no idea if this is true. But the rumor was Padres send Mason Miller and they send Xander Bogaerts in his contract to the Mets for Francisco Lindor. Now that sounds pretty decent to me. More than a little bit decent. I'm not the biggest Lindor fan, but I know that he plays baseball very well. And I know that he would be great in this Padres lineup. He would be great in this lineup. Now, you got to think, why would the Mets ever take Xander Bogaerts' contract? And by the way, I believe Xander Bogaerts has to sign off on this. But Why would they take his contract? Well, the Mets are paying Francisco Lindor $32.5, if I'm rounding up, $32.5 million from 2026 through 2031. So yes, you are taking on a bigger contract, but you're getting a guy like Lindor who is an all-star each and every year, and you're getting him at the age of 32 instead of, and I know the Xander's around the same age, but you're getting a guy who's still producing at the level that of money he is making. $32.5 million rounded up is a ton of money. But so is the $25.454 million that Xander Bogaerts is going to make from 2026 through 2033. And Mason Miller, if you were to, you might say, why would you trade Mason Miller, Skraby? You said that he needs to be the closer of the Padres. And I still believe that. But if you're going to be able to unload a Xander contract and you're going to be able to bring a player like Francisco Lindor here, I don't know that is such a terrible thing for the Padres. They would be able to have a little bit more flexibility because, quite honestly, I like Xander Bogaerts. He did turn it on in the end of last year, but I don't think that he's going to be producing until 2033. Now, Francisco Lindor probably won't produce until 2031, but we're seeing a better player right now than Xander Bogaerts in totality. So if that rumor did come true, I wouldn't hate it that much. And the closer situation for the Padres, they have options. If they were to package Mason Miller and something to get Francisco Lindor, they could go Jeremiah Estrada, which I'm not the biggest Jeremiah Estrada closer fan. I think he's better in the 7th inning or 8th inning, but you can also have Jason Adam, and you could have Adrian Morejon. He could close as well. Or who knows, you get another guy in, it could be a closer as well. But I wouldn't like to see Mason Miller go, but if it was for a deal that unloaded the Xander contract and also brought a player like Francisco Lindor here to San Diego, I think that's an okay deal. The window is now. If you listen to the Skraby show, the window is now. And so, yes, you're trading for a 32-year-old making $32 million for the foreseeable future. But if you can get a World Series this year in 2026, or next year, I guess, 2026, I think that is worth it. You got to strike while the iron's hot. We don't know what's going to happen with this whole sale thing. And that's another part of the rumor that it puts a damper on the rumor that the Padres selling the team, because I don't know, would a potential buyer see a Francisco Lindor contract at $32 million a year better than a Xander contract for $25.45 million a year? I'm not sure. But it's interesting to think about, and it's fun to talk about, because when Kevin Acee reports there could be a huge blockbuster trade in our future this offseason, that's where rumors and minds start going, and things like Mason Miller and Xander Bogaerts for Francisco Lindor get talked about. So don't know if it's going to happen. It's likely not to happen, but I wouldn't hate it. But maybe find someone else other than Mason Miller to give up. I know he's a big part of that package, but I would hate to give up on Mason Miller. I would. All right, Matt Skraby filling in for Gwynn and Chris. Chris is going to be back tomorrow. Tony will rejoin me for the Big Five at 4:40. Tony and Michael Flix at 5:40. When we get back, though, AJ Preller has admitted something I never thought he would admit. We'll talk about it on the other side.
From the 855.
All right, back here in the Odyssey Palace, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Matt Skraby, filling in for Gwynn and Chris until tomorrow. They'll be back 20 minutes. Tony's back for the Big Five. What do we have a lot of interesting topics in the Big Five today. It's a little all over the place, but Phillip Rivers, if you haven't seen him, he's already practicing with the Colts. So I saw him earlier throwing passes for the Colts in 2025. It does seem like he's going to start. So we talk about that. Also, it's Notre Dame is just taking a beating by everyone. Everyone is making fun of Notre Dame right now, mainly because of the football team and the AD and the football team, like not going to a bowl game, taking their ball and going home after being left out of the college football playoff. We'll talk about that because other coaches, I don't know that this coach was actually taking a dig at Notre Dame, but this coach did not shy away from making a point in his whole thing. Also, the NFL is gearing up to put a bunch of money into a new sport, and we'll talk about that in the Big Five. But all guests on 97.3 The Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Now, before we get into what AJ Preller said that I never thought he would say, I read a Kevin Acey article. He put in there that Albert Pujols has spoken about his interview process with the Padres, and it doesn't seem like there's any ill will there. It doesn't seem like there's any anger or hostility or anything like that, frayed feelings, because he said it was a good experience and they helped him to learn what he needs to do in the future when he's doing an interview for a manager job. So he wants to be a manager. He said he wants to do the process again. So that's a good thing that Albert Pujols is not mad at everyone for making him do 2 interviews. One of them, I believe, was like 8 hours, and then ended up choosing Craig Stammen, who was actually one of the guys interviewing candidates for the job. But Craig Stammen, in Craig we trust, as Gonzo says on the chat. Okay, so at the winter meetings today, AJ Preller, he's been asked about this probably 1 million times in the last week. And it's, are you going to trade Fernando Tatis Jr.? Are you going to trade him? Where is he going to be traded? Are you listening to offers? Is he untouchable? He's had all the questions. And he's answered all the questions the same way until now. Because AJ Preller was doing a scrum with the media earlier. He was asked about the untouchable Tatis. He gives a big, long answer about how he's a great player, all that stuff. But then it was followed up, that answer was followed up with this, and then you'll hear what I'm talking about with AJ Preller.
So is he untouchable?
Dennis said he doesn't like that term, so but he's somebody that again we're not talking about. So however you want to view that, if you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that.
Because that's tough teams.
So there you go. He said, if you want to say that's untouchable, they're not talking about him to other teams. So if you want to say that's untouchable, then you could say that's untouchable. But I like that AJ Preller is giving us an indication and kind of calming the nerves of all of us. Now, I know that there are some people out there that are thinking, oh, this is the kiss of death. This just means they're getting ready to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. Again, I've been saying it leading up to this comment. I don't think it's going to happen. Not this year, not next year. I just don't think it's going to happen. Fernando is way too good of a player. He's one of those players that if you trade him, you're not going to get what he provides back in a trade. So AJ Preller, so far this winter meetings, this offseason, has admitted more than I think I've ever heard him admit, because he said the other day they're going to keep Mason Miller in the bullpen instead of converting him to a starter. He's saying now that they're not talking about Tatis to other teams. So these are indications that I like. Instead of us sitting here and have to guess and talk about the Mason Miller thing for the rest of the offseason, we can now move forward and talk about Mason Miller being in the bullpen, and we can forget about the dreams of him becoming a starter, which I was never a fan of anyway. You have a guy like Mason Miller who can end up being the best closer in the game, in my opinion, and you have him for cheap and you have him for a long time. So why would you move him to the starting rotation? Well, I don't need to explain this anymore because AJ has come out and said that Mason Miller is going to be staying in the bullpen. I like that. Gave me direction. It gave all of us direction. We're not filling in the blanks anymore. We're able to go with some real source information. So he said that. And then the whole thing about Tatis, I don't think he would ever say that in the past. Maybe he's just tired of fielding the questions, which honestly, I would probably myself be a little tired of fielding those questions, especially since you've been quoted in many different places saying the same thing you've been telling everybody else. So maybe in this case, AJ was like, you know what? I could put an end to this right now. And he kind of did. He by saying that Fernando is quote unquote, or not quote unquote, but he said you can call him untouchable. That makes me feel better about how this offseason is going to go because I don't have to worry about Fernando Tatis Jr. being traded. I have floated that idea around to many different people of what would happen to you as a fan if Fernando was traded. A lot of people would be very upset, and I would be one of them. So I don't want to see him go anywhere. But so far, let's go. We're 2 for 2 in AJ Preller giving us information that we needed so that we don't fill in the blanks this entire offseason. And I will take it. 100% take it. All right, Tony will be back with me for the Big Five here in about 10, 12 minutes. So stay right there. Where in the world are the Padres going to be playing in 2026? They have an international destination game they announced. We'll talk about it next.
Now, Craig Stammen joins us here, Padres' new manager. And Craig, listen, I've had the opportunity to play for two managers that were in their first year, Don Mattingly and the late Ryan Sandberg in Philadelphia. Both of them had their struggles. Even though these are the best of the best type of players, they had their struggles. Where do you see yourself in terms of your staff and leaning on your staff to kind of be able to help you in those first year kind of struggles that many managers deal with at some
Yeah,
point?
you're right. I'm going to lean on my staff a lot. And I remember having, small conversations with Bob Melvin about some of this stuff. And he was talking about some of the things he wished he knew when he was a first-year manager. And this was way back when I wasn't even thinking about this. We were just kind of talking. And he's like, I wish that I wouldn't have tried to do everything myself. He said, I felt like I had to be involved in everything and I had to be a part of every decision. And he goes, it's just not the case. He goes, there's a few things that I do need to be in charge of and as the manager, but I got good people around me. If I got good people around me, I just got to be able to trust them.
Right.
That'll be the hard part, but we're going to build that trust within the clubhouse, within the coaching staff. So I'm not doing it all myself. We're going to share responsibility. We're going to share the successes. I'll take the blame, and then we'll see where the dust settles. But I'll, obviously, hopefully gain a lot of experience where we get to the end of the season and we're in that playoff hunt.
Yeah.
That we're rolling and we're humming and we got a good process going.
Now, you mentioned, kind of building off what Mike has done here the last couple of years, adding to his legacy. You obviously have your own strengths, though. Where do you see your strengths being able to be applied to this ball club and how it may be of help?
Yeah, Mike had so much experience of organizing, how to be a great baseball team. He'd been mentored by many great managers, and he'd taken a lot from those guys. And I just listened to what he had to say about that stuff, and I saw how he did it, observing and listening to how he kind of went about his business. So a lot of the things that he did, I'm going to probably keep doing the same thing. What I think I can add is maybe just I'm a little younger. I got a little bit more energy.
Yeah.
I've got some relationships within the clubhouse that are maybe a little bit different. Does that give me the avenue to push them in a little bit different way or like sneak in there to get them to do a few things that they haven't been quite open to in the past. Maybe I don't know. We'll find out. But, I'm going to treat them, with respect and hopefully get that respect back. And we're going to try to make this team as best they can be.
Craig Stammen joins us here, Padres' new manager. And, Craig, you're clearly coming this with your eyes wide open with the situation. I heard you say partnering on multiple occasions up on the stand there. What does that look like for the fans who are listening and may not know what partnering looks like? What exactly is that?
Yeah, partnering, it's a give and a take. We have relationships with our families, our moms, our dads, our wives, our kids. It's not always my way or the highway.
Right.
There's got to be, even in this decision to become the manager, there was a lot of give and take with me and Audrey, deciding what was important to her and what we were going to miss by taking this, what was important to me, what I was going to miss in this, and then coming to a decision that works best for both of us. And I think those types of things can happen throughout the year with players, trying to get them on the field to do certain things in practice or in the game, but like partnering them in the way that's like, it's not just my decision.
Right.
We're in this together. We're accomplishing a goal together. It's not my, championship that we're going to win. It's our championship. It's the Padres championship. It's AJ's, it's John's, it's Eric's, it's Manny's, it's Toddy's.
Right.
It's all of ours together. It's Ruben's. We share that success together. I'll handle the blame, and then we'll do this together.
Last one, I'll let you get out of here. I know you got a busy day ahead of you. Mike Schilt did a terrific job of really shielding his players. He always was the man taking all the arrows coming at the ball club. But you also mentioned being able to push the guys. What does that look like? Because I think oftentimes fans hear, managers take the arrows and they're under the impression that there isn't any, pushing going on the backside of that. What does that look like sometimes?
Yeah, we got great players. So, like, the amount of pushing I need to do is limited.
Right.
But we can give them new ideas on how to navigate a season. And Mike was so good at, like, handling the players and taking the arrows, like you said, in the media and throughout the season and pumping those guys up and making them feel great. But there's ways that, like, maybe they haven't been exposed to, and that's what we're going to challenge our staff to do, is come up with creative ways to keep Manny Machado, healthy for a full season. Xander Bogaerts healthy for a full season as they get a little older in age, and can we have guys peaking at the right time and stuff like that? Just like open to new ideas and creative ideas, and the players will be partnering with that with the coaching staff to create something that we think will build us a championship team.
Now, Craig Stammen joins us here, Padres' new manager, and Craig, listen, I've had the opportunity to play for two managers that were in their first year, Don Mattingly and the late Ryan Sandberg in Philadelphia. Both of them had their struggles. Even though these are the best of the best type of players, they had their struggles. Where do you see yourself in terms of your staff and leaning on your staff to kind of be able to help you in those first year kind of struggles?
Matt Skraby filling in for Gwynn and Chris. They'll be back tomorrow. 97.3 The Fan. Just looking through some of the chats. If you want to watch the show, you can. Just go to YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan, or you can search Gwynn and Chris SD. If you go in that YouTube, the Gwynn and Chris YouTube, we have a special chat set up for everyone who wants to chat together. But here's a chat from our 97.3 The Fan YouTube. Adam Paul said that this was verified by Woods this morning, so I feel good about that if Woods is verifying. Ty Musgrave says, definitely don't think Miller plus Bogaerts for Lindor makes sense. It would have to be good young players, controllable for cheap, and probably filling more holes than they're creating. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I don't. But if you're a team like the Mets looking, it seems like, to shed a little bit of salary because they pay a lot of money to miss the playoffs last year. Let me say that out loud. They paid a lot of money to miss the playoffs last year. But I think the Bogaerts contract is, and by the way, Citi Field will probably fit Xander Bogaerts much better than Petco Park. But the Bogaerts contract is lower and less left on it, I believe, than Francisco Lindor. You're paying Francisco Lindor, the Mets are, $7 million more a year than Xander Bogaerts. So it's a win-win, I think, where a team is getting rid of Lindor's contract. They're getting a closer like Mason Miller so that they don't need to go and spend money on Robert Suarez. And they're also getting Bogarts, who can take Lindor's spot at shortstop, and they would be paying less for him over time, which I think may be attractive to the Mets. But if you're looking at it in just the players situation, like if you're just looking at it on paper with just the players listed, no contract details, you're right. That is not enough to move Lindor. But when you have the intricacies of the contract, it makes it a little bit more digestible, I think. Roland says Bogart's contract, the hangman's noose. I can't disagree. I'm not saying, Xander has not performed up to his contract standard. He was pretty good for the Padres down the stretch last year, but that is going to be one of the most difficult things to get out of going forward, I believe. All right, it's Big Five time. Tony Gwynn Jr. is going to be back with me, and the Michigan head coach, by the way, he was fired. More and more is coming out about Sherrod Moore. No pun intended. So we'll talk about that on the other side too. But here is traffic, then the Big Five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury.
This report is brought to you by Mission Fed. Watch out, you got a crash on the 8 westbound at Severn Drive. 2 left lanes are blocked. And then a 20-minute delay on the northbound side of the 5 at Delmore Heights Road with a stall in the right lane. The 125 southbound slows down into Spring Street with another accident. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. I'm Suala with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Gotta turn on the mic, Tony. That's been my thing this week. I don't understand why I've forgotten when to turn on a microphone.
It's quite the conundrum.
It is quite the
figure
conundrum. We got lots to talk about. We'll get into a big scheduling announcement today for the Padres. We'll also get into Phillip Rivers. We'll get into the NFL backing flag football. And then everybody is having their fun with Notre Dame these days. So we'll get into what one
so
coach
many
said.
people, as I said earlier, have reveled in the fact that they have this opening to jump on Notre Dame. A lot of people have been thinking these things for a long time.
Yeah.
And they have been given free reign.
They have. I mean, they've been sliding by without a conference forever. They've had this NBC deal forever. Now people are getting back at them. And one coach
it might be a jealousy thing, but they certainly are feeling away. People.
I'm fine with
people
it.
They say are feeling away.
People, really? How many people, Tony? I've heard that question before when regarding people.
Oh, yes.
All right. Let's get started with
number 5.
What you're going to be doing in the end of April, Tony. For the third time, Major League Baseball will stage a series in Mexico City, and on Saturday, April 25th and Sunday, April 26th of 2026, the Diamondbacks and Padres are going to square off in Estadio Alfredo Harpelú Baseball. The league announced today. You may remember the altitude is over 7,000 feet, so the ball flies pretty far. We saw a crazy game 2 years ago. But, Tony, do you think these international series in the middle of a season for 2 days are worth it?
Yes, I do. I think that
yes, I do.
Major League Baseball benefits from this. In terms of personally, it wears you out. Going, doing a customs thing, landing, trying to stay from getting sick as I did last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A few of us did. But yeah, no, overall it's a good thing for Major League Baseball, and I understand why you do it, and I'm happy that I get the opportunity to go.
Yeah, that is cool that you get the opportunity to go. You and Jesse were like rock stars there.
I just remember in that particular trip, I think we went to Chicago first.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And then flew to Mexico, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right there.
And it was really cold, and then it was really hot
and dry.
And yeah, it was altitude. The ball was like, it was like old school course.
Let's see. You will be.
What we got before?
Ooh,
Don't
it is a big old road trip. I'm pretty sure it's Colorado to Mexico. Yeah. I'm not very excited about that.
I don't even want to think about the schedule.
Closer than Chicago, so
it is. But you can flip a coin what the weather is going to be in Colorado that time. It's
That's
April,
also
right?
true. Yeah, April 25th,
It literally
26th.
could be 75 or 35.
Yeah,
with snow.
Do I think the series are worth it? I think if they're going to do this, they need to go down there for longer. It seems like 2 days going to Tony's giving me the eyes, but 2 days going to an international city just to turn around and fly home. I understand that they need to get this in, but it just seems like so much work for 2 games.
I think it's important to remember how Major League Baseball travels. It's not, you're not going through the regular airport where I could see that being not worth the 2 days. Like everything is expedited, so
it's true.
It makes it a little bit easier.
That is a good point, because I'm thinking of me standing in customs lines for like 4 hours or something.
100%.
Like I did at Heathrow one time. That was brutal. In July, the Chargers signed quarterback Phillip Rivers to a one-day retirement contract. What connection, if any, did that development have to the ability of Phillip Rivers to sign a contract with the Colts? None whatsoever. Apparently, it wasn't an official contract. It was just a ceremonial contract. That's because the Chargers had their full allotment of 90 players under contract. And if it had been a real contract, he would have had to been moved to the reserve retired list. And if he hadn't been released from that designation before the trade deadline, Rivers would have been required to pass through waivers before signing with the Colts. So basically, all of this just worked out for the Colts as they really needed it to work out. I'm up first. How do you think he will play? Because he is going to play. They did not do all this just to bring him in for a practice squad. I have no idea how he's going to play, but the inner me knows that Phillip's a competitor, knows that he's not going to go out there if he doesn't think he can play. I wouldn't be surprised if he just lit up the NFL for a couple weeks. But I'm not sure that's going to happen. What do you think, Tony? How do you think he's going to play?
I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he lit it up, but as much as I want to believe in the spirit of Phillip Rivers, I am 43 myself. And, Phillip's looking kind of thick these days when I saw him. And he's older. I just, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. He's never been one that was going to run away from a defensive lineman that had him in his grasp.
No.
However, it's been how many years since
2020 was the last time he played.
5 years.
Yeah.
It is Phillip, so I won't put anything past him, but
there's no way he's doing this if he doesn't think he can play. I don't see him as that guy.
Listen, I can't say that. Many athletes are delusional. He would just be the latest one.
I know.
If indeed he can't. I'm not going to say he can't, though, because I'm rooting for him.
If this is his way to a Super Bowl, this is one of the most incredible stories in sports history. American sports history. It really
would be. We would be talking about this for a while in terms of him. If he were to lead them to a Super Bowl from here, that would be one of the wildest stories ever.
And I want it to happen, even though my team would have to suffer in the process. So if the 49ers are not in the Super Bowl, I'm cheering for the Colts. Your team is
not going to Super Bowl.
What are you talking about, bro?
Keep it real.
They're really good.
Number 3.
All right, Notre Dame thinks they are doing the right thing by pulling out of any bowl bid this season. Now, the Vanderbilt head coach, Clark Lee, was asked in a presser yesterday. What?
You got the two last names mixed up there?
Yeah, he's got two first names. Two last names. Clark Lee was asked in his presser yesterday if his team ever considered not playing in the bowl game. Here's what he said.
That's okay.
We just learned Notre Dame declined their opening. Was there any thought to that going on here at Vanderbilt today?
No. I mean, I can't speak to their process, but we love playing football here. And to realize that we get a chance to close out a special season with a special.
All right, I don't really care about the rest of it. I just wanted
You
him
just
to
wanted
say,
to be messy. That's what
we
you wanted
love
to do.
playing football here. And people are just taking their shots. And I'm not even going to ask you about Mr. Coach Clark Lee. Notre Dame is leaning into this, and people are just giving them the business, which they should. Tony, do you think we see Notre Dame backtrack at some point?
No. Now we may see them hop into a conference, but we certainly won't see them backtrack. I don't. Well, would you say Clark Lee?
Clark Lee.
I didn't want to make sure I didn't mix it up. Clark Lee kind of broke it down in its most simplest terms. There are a bunch of players that enjoy playing football, which is ultimately why you got into it to begin with. Yes, you want to win, but you also enjoy playing the game. And so, I think it may not even have been a shot. He was asked a question, but because of how Notre Dame has handled this, everything is going to seem like a shot because that's going to be at the front of everybody's mind. Oh, they love to play football. You know who doesn't love to play football?
Notre
I shouldn't
Dame.
say that. You know who would seem not to enjoy playing football? Notre Dame. So, I don't know. I don't know that it was a shot, but it wouldn't be the first one in the last, 4 days that have taken place.
I mean, this dude, Pete Bavacqua,
he keeps going, doesn't he?
He is digging himself a deeper hole. He keeps going in these weird directions of like, they smeared us on social media. He doesn't understand
ACC's thing.
I bet you they deleted some of that stuff.
You think they deleted it?
I think he was also talking about, as you guys have mentioned many times, the replaying of games on the ACC network.
Okay, that was on the network.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that. They acknowledge that.
I don't know that.
But what is the
who knows, Tony? It really could be anything that he's pointing to right now. But you don't think they're going to backtrack? I think at some point they might have to.
Why? How? Why?
Not anytime. They're not playing in a bowl. All of those are already given
wouldn't
out.
that actually be backtracking?
I think backtracking would come out and be like, listen, we understand we looked a little babyish.
And you think that's going to happen?
It's probably not going to happen, but I think at some point this press is going to be so bad for Notre Dame, and so many people are going to make fun of them. They're going to have to say something.
They don't care.
You don't think they care at all about how their program is being seen right now?
I don't think they think they're in the wrong, and I don't think that in their silo they're hearing that they're wrong. I mean, yes, in the national media, but they don't care about the national stuff.
I guess you're right. Urban Meyer said that he thinks that some of the players, if you asked him, half the players wouldn't want to go play in the bowl game. Which, how do you know that, Urban Meyer? I don't know that you know that, Urban Meyer.
Maybe Urban's right, but they didn't. They should say that. Then it would actually be plausible for why you didn't want to do it. If you came out and said, "Hey, the players,
we took a vote.
They decided that they didn't want to play." Okay, cool, but that's not kind of what it seems like.
No, it seems like the AD made this decision.
Or it should at least say we don't know that. They haven't put that out there for us to kind of gnaw on.
I will say this is one of the most fun stories that we had throughout the year. Is Notre Dame crying?
Yeah, it has been.
It's been really good.
Number 2.
The NFL is gearing up for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, and with the event just a few years away, the league voted Wednesday to fund and launch a professional flag football league. The NFL has announced the move allows them to enter into an agreement with a partner and invest up to $32 million in the league. NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent said the move was a, quote, critical step in establishing flag football as a premier global sport, end quote. My question, I'm up first. Why are they so into flag football? My answer, money. But my second answer is, and this is a conspiracy, do they think that football is going to go away as we know it today and it's going to become a flag football league and they want to be at the forefront of flag football leagues around the world? That's my conspiracy. There's no other reason why they're so into flag football. I don't understand it. They're not investing money into something that won't make them money. What do you think, Tony? Why are they so into flag football now?
I disagree with that premise.
Okay.
I think that it's a optics, a looking good situation here. Here, a lot of kids now, and parents are way more comfortable letting their young kids play flag football and holding off from the contact as long as possible. So if I'm the NFL and I see that flag football is getting bigger, it will eventually be a collegiate sport at some point.
Oh yeah,
it's headed that direction.
I agree.
And so why wouldn't you want to support something that I think probably makes your sport look a little bit better if you're supporting it, right? It's almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like an avenue into tackle football, right? You don't want the young kids banging their heads as their heads is developing. Play flag, and it gets you at least ready with the movements, especially the way the game is played now. They've kind of put into the rules a safer game. It's you hear NFL players say it all the time. It's a glorified flag football. You can't touch anybody. And so I think it's a good look for them to invest in it. Yes, of course, I'm sure they're going to make some money off it. They don't do things unless they are. However, I think this one is probably kind of fits well for the image that they're trying to portray in terms of safety.
I buy that more than my conspiracy.
I mean, because your conspiracies are
my conspiracy definitely needed work. I understand that.
Usually does.
I don't know about that. Usually they're figured out, but not this one.
Number 1.
The New York Metropolitans let Pete Alonso walk, as we talked about earlier, without ever making an offer to retain him, Tony. League sources told The Athletic Monday after he agreed with the Baltimore Orioles, the Mets held some interest in bringing Alonso back, but they were uncomfortable going to the lengths and the figures that he ended up with, 5 years and $155 million. So you're up first, Tony. Is this insulting to not be offered a contract by the Mets if you're Pete Alonso? Just straight up not
I don't think
offering him.
you shouldn't be insulted. I think I don't think he is. He probably already, if that's the case, he probably knew that's where it was headed, which is why he said, I think it was minutes after they got eliminated, I'm opting out of my deal. So I think he already kind of knew.
This isn't news to him.
Right. He already kind of knew what it was with the Mets. But good for him, man. He cashed in. He took the deal with the opt-out, understanding if I ball out, there's one team out there that's going to pay me. And not only did they pay him, the prediction was Kyle Schwarber would get more.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up out gaining Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scotty Boras once again, pulling a rabbit out of his hat. Although I don't think he pulled a rabbit out of his hat. I said this yesterday. It was kind of confusing to me why so many teams weren't willing to pay him, considering the consistency in which he's done the thing. I get he doesn't play good defense, but you ain't paying Pete Alonso to play defense. As long as he gets the ball from third, short, and second, 99% of the time, which he does, you're fine. He's not going to make any, world-breaking plays at first base. And he's certainly not going to run the bases like he's Vince Coleman. Okay? So those were never things that you were hoping for. But tell you what he's going to do. He's going to drive in you 100. He's going to hit you about anywhere between 35 and 50. And he's going to be that guy consistently. So kudos to Pete Alonso. He shouldn't feel insulted. I don't think it's an insult. I think these two, the time had come. The Mets seemingly like they didn't value him the way that he should have been valued, in my opinion. And Baltimore said, you know what? We do.
Yeah, I like that. And I like guys that take contracts that like prove it contracts. And he proved it. He proved that he can make this money. So I guess at first I was thinking about it from my perspective, which, I would be a little insulted, but you're right. He's known this for a long time. They probably told him like months ago about this. So I guess he's not that insulted at all. But Pete Alonso out of the National League, which is good with me. He's in the American League now, American League East, and he doesn't have to go too far.
I do see, listen, it's starting to shape itself up in the American League East. My man was crying poor.
Hal Steinbrenner.
We've seen the Orioles. We've seen the Red Sox. We've seen the Blue Jays all make some pretty splashy moves. Nothing yet out of the Yanks.
Yeah. Cody Bellinger and that whole riddle that Scott Boras.
He's got a lot of teams interested.
Do you think that he... Never mind. No, it's a bad joke. All right. When we get back, I'm going to update you on everything that happened at the winter meetings today. We still got MIchael Flix to go at 5:40. He'll talk about the high school basketball scene here in San Diego. So stick with us.
Hey, it's Ben and Woods. Getting up early in the morning isn't a lot of fun.
So last night, the bus was to leave for the airport at 8 p.m. And Tony, you know this. Everybody knows this. You know, if you're hooked up with anything like this, as Pete Carroll used to say, on time means you're late.
Right.
So Amy's the young lady who handles all the travel and puts together the itinerary. So we're just about ready to leave. You know,
TJ Lucida.
She stands up as the bus is kind of rumbling to life. And she goes, okay, everybody get your passports out. I want to make sure nobody leaves without their passport. Because, again, you are talking to college kids here, and you don't want
college
them
kids,
to,
huh?
That's what she thought she was talking to.
She thought she. So I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to my head, like, well, you don't need a passport for this trip. I didn't even bring one. We're just going to the Bahamas. And so, yeah.
That was your thought process? The Bahamas are an international flight, I believe.
This is almost equal to the fact that North Dakota borders Canada.
I think it does equal that, Skraby.
Actually, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, I forgot about it too, buddy.
Right. So for whatever reason, I did not bring my passport. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, my stomach, you have your sinking feeling. And I'm like, what? Never do that. Yeah, thank you. And I was like, oh no, I don't have my passport. Here's my second thought, guys. If I just quietly call Lori, because the flight wasn't until 10 o'clock. You got some extra time. So I said, if I call Lori and just have her bring my passport down to the airport, I'll be able to get away with this without everybody knowing that I blew it. Because that isn't a factor here. You don't want to be embarrassed. So she's in the back checking the players' passport situation out. And I'm having this argument with myself. Oh no, what do I do? And so my first thing is I'll call Lori and I'll just say, hey, can you, I blew it. I forgot my passport. Can you meet me down at the airport? And then I thought, we live 25 minutes from the airport. Lori is not going to be happy. Getting my passport and driving it down there.
Because the airport is really easy to access these days.
And never easy to access, exactly. So I had a quick discussion with myself, and it was either A, it's time for me to embarrass myself in front of the team, or I'm going to have to ask Lori to drive to the airport. I chose the first one. So I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot my passport. I don't have it. And Stacey Terry Hudson looked at me and like, what? Like you? And she wasn't mean about it. She was just like so surprised. And as I was, and everybody's like, what are you going to do? And I said, well, I live, literally 10 minutes from the school. And I said, I'm going to call Lori right now. Is there any way we can just hold up for 10 minutes?
What?
That's all. It was either that or make Lori drive down, Skraby. You got to understand my options here. They're very limited.
I get it, but I think your mistake means that you have to
do the hard one.
Yeah, you have to deal with the hard part.
I agree. Well, this didn't turn out a whole lot better. Amy, it's her first year on the job, but she's a very nice gal, so I don't have any really, I don't have any cachet with her yet. And she's like looking at her watch, looking at Coach Stacey Terry. She's like, 10 minutes, because that can be a little...
That's stressful.
Well, it's stressful. And she doesn't care. Her job is to get everybody on that damn plane.
Right. And a lot of times what we don't know, the traveling party doesn't know, is they've already called ahead and talked. They have a travel agent that's going to kind of expedite the process a little bit. And if they mess up that contact, then everybody's messed up.
So everything is thrown asunder if you got to wait 10
Asunder.
minutes. And but I'm on the phone with Lori, and Lori's like, "Well, I'm not going to the airport. There's no way." She's like, "You tell them that I'll be there in 10 minutes."
You tell them.
And I will give Lori a lot of credit. She, while this discussion was going on, found the passport and was already in the car.
Whoa.
So I give her a ton of credit. She didn't wait for, okay, go get the passport and hurry
she
up.
did it. Because she knew she wasn't going to the airport. So
She knew she wasn't going to the airport. Exactly, Tony.
She's like,
So
I'm in the car.
She did. She said, I'm in the car. So I told, Amy, and I got Lori on the phone. I'm telling Amy and Coach, I'm like, she's on her way. And I said, I drive this all the time. It really is 10 minutes. And they're like, all right, 10 minutes. So last night, the bus was to leave for the airport at 8 p.m. And Tony, you know this. Everybody knows this. If you're hooked up with anything like this, as Pete Carroll used to say, on time means you're late.
Right.
So Amy's the young lady.
Matt Skraby here with you for the next hour. Welcome in to the happy hour of Gwynn and Chris. Both guys are going to be back tomorrow. Chris traveling home from Kansas State University. The women's team beat Kansas State today, so it's a happy flight home for them. Tony Gwynn Jr. being a good dad going to check out his daughter's soccer game. So we still have MIchael Flix at 5:40. He is going to be talking about the high school basketball scene here in San Diego. So if you're curious, he's going to give his top 10 players in no particular order in the county. So if you're curious to see who's on the list, tune in at 5:40. I am Matt Skraby. You can watch the show on Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. You could also 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, Gwynn and Chris SD on YouTube, and then 97.3 The Fan SD on X. This hour is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. Well, if you just heard Ben Woods' look ahead is what I call that in the radio biz. They were talking about how the winter meetings are now over. And at this point, the winter meetings are definitely over. It's 8 o'clock there in Orlando. So things are closing up shop. But as I said earlier, it wasn't the most star-studded winter meetings, but we did see 3 contracts be given out: Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso, and Edwin Diaz. We also learned some things from AJ Preller, which, number one, Fernando is untouchable. He didn't say those words, but he said you can, if you want to infer it that way, then you can. And also, Mason Miller is not going to be a starter. He's going to stay in the bullpen and presumably be the Padres' closer of the future. So that's what we've learned. Now, there are, I've seen some complaints out there about the starting rotation not even being close to complete. And my answer to that is go back and look what AJ Preller has done during spring training. He has brought guys in during spring training. When I first got into Padres radio way back when, I would have thought the starting rotation is not even close to being complete. This is a disaster. We're already starting the year as a disaster. They need 3 pitchers, blah, 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 blah. First baseman. But I'm not worried about it. Not many players were signed here at the winter meetings. There were no massive trades that I saw at the winter meetings. So it seems like teams are just starting to feel things out for the winter. And if I have to get my cliche joke, the hot stove is hot right now. And the Padres are not necessarily a part of any of those hot stove items, which is okay with me, because we did learn a lot of different players on the Padres that could possibly be traded this offseason. Nick Pivetta, Jake Cronenworth, not Fernando. You got guys like that. You're going to be trading a core piece of this team if you do make this blockbuster trade that Kevin Acee said may happen this offseason. But one of the things that we have not really talked about this offseason is the catching situation, because, they got the Ferminator, Freddie Fermin. He played pretty well last year. I think that fans were happy with his performance, and hopefully an offseason with the Padres will help him to get even better. But what is their backup plan going to be at catcher? You're obviously not going with Martin Maldonado, not going with Elias Diaz. Maybe, but what about Ethan Salas? We've talked about him many, 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 many times. And Sam Levitt caught up with AJ Preller and asked him for the status of Ethan Salas.
Yeah, he's had a really good last couple months. He's been full go in terms of baseball activity, throwing, hitting, fielding, everything like that. So, again, I think we made the decision at the end of the year. He sat out, with the stress reaction, and rather than rush anything here with with a few weeks left in a winter ball season or something like that, we figured he was getting a lot of good work in, a lot of good time with our instructors, our training staff. Get a chance to go home, and it's going to be a long year for him next year. So he looks really good. He's still very super young. And I think we're excited that injury behind him and he can get back on the field. And everything I've seen and heard from our reports, videos, he looks like he's in a good place and looks like he'll be ready to go as we get to spring training.
I like to hear that, obviously, because he needs all the spring training he can get. But one of the names that we have not brought up in a trade would be Ethan Salas. Leo DeVries was the big name in the system before they traded Mason Miller and JP Sears. So could Ethan Salas be a trade piece? Maybe. I mean, he was very highly coveted there for a couple years. And then he, as you heard AJ talking about, he got injured. And so the demand for him went down a little bit. But we haven't even, this is a thing that I think I have changed over the years on, and that would be prospect hugging. Maybe 7 years ago, I'd say, no, don't get rid of him. He's the future. But I don't know that. So if he were to be traded, if he were to go to another team and you're getting back a player or two that can play at the major league level in 2026, again, I say go for it. Go for it, because the window's now. And so if you can get better players for a guy like Ethan Salas, then I think you do it. If you win a World Series this year, no one's going to be thinking about Ethan Salas at all next year. I keep saying this year, but it's actually next year, so 2026. But it's kind of hard to believe that in a year time span, and I'm not saying that Ethan Salas is going to be traded. I'm just saying if it did happen, can you imagine in a year time span, both Leodalis DeVries and Ethan Salas would be traded? That is crazy. That would be crazy, because we would have said that both of those guys were untouchable for a long time. We learned that Leodalis DeVries, I was going to go with the other way I said it before, but I'm not. We learned that he was not untouchable. He was moved for Mason Miller. So don't put it past AJ. Don't put it past him at all. He may just do it. And again, I don't know if I'm off base with this, but I really do think that if you can get a good return on Ethan Salas, you might consider that, and more than consider it. Lean towards doing it. But I'm not sure that will actually happen, just because I don't know if they're willing to part with him right now, and I don't know that he has the best trade value right now because he was coming off of an injury. He's still like 18 or 19, I believe. So it's not like his age is becoming a problem. But this is a good problem for the Padres to have. It is 100% a good problem for the Padres to have. Now, we were talking about starting pitching. On the other side, I'm going to play you a clip of AJ Preller talking about one of the Japanese pitchers that posted, Tatsuya Imai. And so they were asking him about that. We'll get into that on the other side. We'll also get into what's happening with this Michigan football head coach. The news. We started the show. As soon as Tony and I basically sat down in our chairs here before the show, we got push notifications that Michigan has fired their head coach, Sharon Moore, and it all has to do with an inappropriate relationship with a staffer within the Michigan system. University of Michigan. You're not allowed to date anyone, or head coaches should not be dating. I can't say her age. I don't know her age, actually, but head coaches should not be fraternizing with people that work together or when you work with them. But the sad part about this whole thing is that Sharon Moore and his wife Kelly have 2 daughters. And so there's a lot going on there. And I'm not going to get into like the salacious details because I don't know if any of this is true or not, but I will make sure that we talk about it on the other side because it is a big news story. Also, San Diego State Aztecs basketball happening tonight, Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. against Lamar. Yeah, this is what I love about college basketball. You get to learn about schools like Lamar. I had never heard of Lamar in my life until last week when I was looking at the Aztecs basketball schedule. I remember, this is embarrassing, but I will admit it anyway. I remember one time I saw Colgate University or college or whatever it's called. I think it's university. And I thought it was a toothpaste school. Like you go and you learn how to make toothpaste. And with that, I will leave you till the next segment and you'll get your traffic.
From the 8th.
right, before we get into Tatsuya Imai and Sharon Moore, I'm going to daily gripe. If you don't know what the daily gripe is, I do it on the Skraby show. At the end of the show, it's just something small that bothers you throughout the day. I've given many daily gripes over the years, but and some days it's harder to come up with a daily gripe than others, but I have a good one. And by the way, I'm Matt Skraby, filling in for Gwynn and Chris here on 97.3 The Fan. The guys are going to be back tomorrow, and we will be back to our regular show, feel tomorrow. But Chris and Tony, I'm not even going to present it this way. So sometimes, like my computer, I'm just going to go in a different direction because I don't even want to go in that direction if they're not here. Here's the daily gripe. When at work, when we're on the work Wi-Fi, for some reason, whenever I go to the computer to sign in, I have to do a dual authentication thing. And so usually when you sign into our work stuff from a browser, you enter the password, send something to your phone, you have to hit accept, and then it will let you in. But usually a browser will save that information across your browser, so you don't have to keep entering it over and over and over. But recently, this whole dual authentication thing has been driving me insane. Like every time I want to go use something that is within the Odyssey world, it's asking me to do this dual authentication thing. It's just like, I can't do it. Like I just tried to get in to put up a podcast. My phone was not near me and I couldn't get in because I had to go over to the phone and pick it up and hit the accept button. But I've done that maybe 10 times today. So this is a me problem, but it's also, you all know what the dual authentication is like. I just don't like being asked to authenticate every time I open a new page. It's a necessary evil because I am aware of why they have it, because people are sneaky and good at stealing your identity and stuff. But I'm sitting at work on the work Wi-Fi. It should know I'm here. It should know I'm in a secure place. All right. That's it for the daily gripe for today. All guests on 97.3 The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorney, is helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. In about 15 minutes, 5:35, so 15 minutes, we will have the newest, biggest fan name for everyone today. And I feel the pressure. Each and every day for the biggest fan because the Skrabinators, they really want to be called biggest fan, but I have no control over the names that go into the biggest fan document. I know that Renee, who's a great listener, has not been called yet, and I'm hoping that she gets called very, very soon. Back to baseball before we get into the Michigan coach thing. I'm going to leave a little bit of time for the Michigan coach thing. I want things to settle down a little bit more before I start bringing news to the show that turns out not to be true. But we were talking about the Padres rotation and about how it's not even close to being filled. And I said, it's okay. They still have plenty of time. Things have happened in spring training and things have come together in spring training before. But this year, there's been a lot of different players from Japan and the KBO, mainly Japan, that have posted, as they say, and they're going to be possibly coming Major League Baseball's way. And one of those pitchers is Tatsuya Imai, and he is a pitcher that a lot of teams are going to want to be in on. And so AJ Preller was asked about this. He was also asked about the starting pitching market in general this offseason. The audio is not the greatest, but you can still hear AJ Preller. But they first start talking about whether or not the Padres have looked into Tatsuya Imai.
Again, we've had conversations, on some of the players coming from MPB. I think with obviously, from the starting rotation standpoint of losing Cease and then the Darvish injury,
Filling those rotation spots is going to be important. We'll continue to have conversation with the agents for the players that are coming from MPB and see if we can line up on something. But it's a very competitive market, so we'll see how it all plays out.
How do you look at the starting futures market at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a premium on starting pitching. There's just not, it's not a, there's always definitely, not enough supply and a lot of people that, there's a lot of demand and a lot of teams that need to fill starting spots. So, those are always like pretty active, aggressive conversations. There's only going to be a limited number of pitchers that can go out there and make 25, 30 starts. So we're engaged. We're in the middle of a few of those conversations and hopefully try to land on something here soon.
All right, that was AJ Preller with the media talking about Tatsuya Imai and the starting pitching situation. Now, Imai is not like Roki Sasaki because Roki Sasaki did not wait the allotted time that he was supposed to in NPB. So he was under the international salary rules, which is why he only made like $8 million or whatever. He probably could have been signed for more if he would have waited, but he did not wait. He came over a little bit early. Imai, he is a free agent so he's able to negotiate deals, a lot bigger than what Roki Sasaki was able to negotiate. I don't even think really Roki Sasaki was negotiating. Basically, it was, hey, whoever. Oh, I'm not even going to say that because I know the Dodgers always had a hand up on this whole thing. But whoever gives me the most money, I'll go play for them, which we know wasn't true, even though the Dodgers did give him the most money. But we all know he used other teams for information. But Imai is going to have to be a guy you pay. So I don't know. He's in the future, but you never know with AJ Preller. And they said they were going to spend up to what they did last year. So as Tony and I said yesterday, it's about $60 million between what they're have on their books now and what they ended up with last year, according to their payroll. So there is a wiggle room for it. And AJ Preller has made very, very creative contracts in the past. See Nick Pivetta. His contract was very, very team friendly last year. He's getting paid what he deserves this year. He's getting $19 million. And he only got $1 million last year. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I hope he does not get traded. All right. There was another signing that just happened in baseball. And National League West familiar face, Mike Yastrzemski, is going to the Braves. They agreed to a 2-year, $23 million deal. So Mike Yastrzemski going to Atlanta out of San Francisco. All right, quickly, let's go into this Michigan football story. Michigan fired their head coach, Sharon Moore, today for cause. This is his second year leading the team. And the athletic director said the termination was a result of an inappropriate relationship between Moore and a staff member. Here is their statement. Sharon Moore has been terminated with cause effective immediately. Following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Now, that was what we what we found in the beginning. That's what the information we were given in the beginning of the story. But it goes on. It's gotten crazier over the day. So Moore was actually, apparently, according to CBS Sports and many other places, he was detained by police in Saline, Michigan 3 hours after his firing. Saline police turned Moore over to the police in Pittsfield Township for investigation into potential charges. Now, no word on what those charges are or if he will be charged or anything like that, but apparently something got serious enough that Moore was detained by the police after this whole thing. And it's hard for me to criticize him right now because I don't know the full story, but the story is leading down a bad path, and I do not understand people who have a great job, they have a family, wife and kids. They coach one of the most notorious, famous, nostalgic programs in college football, and you go and you throw it away. You throw it away for to have an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. I don't understand how that happens. I don't understand what goes through people's mind. Now, I'm going to start this with saying I don't know that this is true. I found it on social media. I don't know that this is true, but I've seen it in a couple places, so I'm hoping there is some truth to it. Someone posted the salary history for the woman that Sharon Moore is involved with. And again, I don't know this is true, but in 2022 and 2023, because this is public knowledge, I believe, she was paid $58,000 for that year. Next year, $58,000. 2024 and 2025, she was paid $90,000. She got a raise of 55.11%. So if this document that I found is true, it's just not very smart on his part. There's always going to be people investigating. There's always going to be people wondering, why did you pay that staffer who was making $58,000? Why did you give her a 55% raise? I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to dig into that a little bit, and people did. I don't know how all this came out, but it's not good. It's not good for Michigan. We'll see how the dust settles. Michigan, Moore had a buyout of around $14 million, but because he was fired for cause, Michigan may not be on the hook for all of that. So it sounds like a pretty cut and dry thing for Michigan. They move on, and they don't have to pay him the money. But for him, Sharon Moore, he's got a whole mess of problems coming up for him. Trying to, I don't even know what he's trying to do. Just keep his head above water for right now. And I don't like to, be crass about these things because there are 5 lives involved in this. Sharon Moore, his 2 kids, his wife, and the staffer. So five lives have been ruined today. And it's sad. It's sad when that stuff happens, but we'll keep an eye on this. We'll figure out what happens when the dust settles. You're listening to Gwynn and Chris. I'm Matt Skraby filling in for the guys. They'll be back tomorrow. When we get back, we'll have the biggest fan. We're going to be a little bit late on the biggest fan, but we'll have the biggest fan, and we'll also hear from MIchael Flix about San Diego High School basketball.
All right, so here's what happened. I was at the corner, and I'm going to call out the streets because who cares? It was Claremont Mesa Drive and Ruffin Road, which is pretty close to our radio station here.
Yeah.
I had to run over and pick up a little cash from the bank. That was a simple, trip before I came into work. And I'm on Ruffin Road, coming up to Claremont Mesa Boulevard.
Ruffin Road can be a little rough sometimes.
Well, they could pave that. It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt if they can't call it paved road. I know that.
Wait, your issue isn't the potholes in the road?
No, that was I'm used to that. So we come up on Claremont Mesa, and we're at the stoplight. I'm in the left-hand turn lane to turn left on Claremont Mesa. I'm the third car back. And there's 2 left turn lanes. There's 3 cars in line here. And then the going straight is also red. And that is backed up each of the lanes. So that I've got cars on my right. I've got cars on my left. I got 2 in front of me. I got people behind me. No big deal. Light cycles through. And our turn doesn't come.
Oh, no.
So the cross traffic gets to go again. And then the people coming across in our direction, they get to go again. And then for a second time, they skip our turn. Well, that's what I thought. So now...
Actually, you're not going anywhere. You're stuck.
Right, you're stuck.
You're not going anywhere.
And my first thought, of course, as a good scout or, athlete, is to look around. Is there any way out? Can I back up? Can I, I'll do anything. But there is nowhere for me to go.
No.
It happens a third time.
Whoa.
And I'm pretty clear at this point, this light's broken. And I'm starting to think,
how are we going to get out of this? Am I going to have to call, like, the police to come and fix it? No one's going to know it's broken.
911 emergency response.
Yeah.
Where's emergency? Ruffin Road in Claremont. The light is stuck.
The light is stuck. And so this is 5 minutes probably, but you can imagine 5 minutes.
No,
that's a long
That's a
time,
long
right?
time.
Well, when it comes to the fourth time, I finally start just leaning on my horn.
Oh.
I'm trying to get...
What are the people in front of you going to do?
Well, because there was a moment, you're right, after the traffic comes this way, it paused.
You want them to run the light.
You could at least a couple people could run the light. We could get this going here.
You want them to run the light.
I did.
Break the law.
Well, they had to. Otherwise, we'd still be there. Anyway, so this is going on. So I'm starting leaning on my horn. The lady next to me looks at me like, what the hell are you doing?
Good for her. Good for her.
And good for her.
Kidding.
I'm like,
I'm just
ma'am,
kidding.
are you just clueless? Were you going to sit here the rest of your life?
She has faith that the light's going to turn eventually.
Evidently so. If it had gone again, the guy next to me on this side rolled down his passenger window. That starts to go down. I think he's going to be mad. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the light's broken. Like, how do you not know this? We've all been sitting here for 6-7 minutes now. The two cars at the very front of the left turn lane are not budging. So they apparently are content to sit there for as long as it need be.
They also have faith that the light is going to turn.
But I have no faith.
What gives them that faith?
Yeah, but what gave them the faith? I mean, it had cycled through 4 times now. The 5th time, I was going to just have to get out of my car and walk up to that and go, will you please do something? Or get, and if you don't, and I would have,
something.
You know what I would have said? If you don't want to run the light, just get out of my way so I can run the light. I'm not sitting here the rest of the day. And finally, on the 5th time, the first 2 people ran the light, and the next person was able to get you know what I mean? And after a couple more cycles through, I got out of there. But I don't know.
Did the light ever start working?
I don't know. If you're at Claremont Mason Ruffin Road, you might still be there. I don't know. This was 45 minutes ago or so.
Wow.
So my question to you is, how differently would you have handled this than I did? And I'll start with you, Tony. Would there have been any difference, or do you know?
I don't know if I would have laid on my horn.
You would have just never laid on it.
I think I might have maybe rolled down the window, see if I could talk to somebody, see what else.
See if anybody else was in on it?
I don't think I would have laid on my horn because, listen, what you're asking is for them to, which may not be easy for everybody, and that is the timing between when because they're waiting for their light to turn.
Yes,
right?
they were waiting for
the light's not going to turn. But that also then requires them to guess the exact kind of when the timing of when they can go. And
you know what? Figure it out.
I think a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable with
running the light,
with
even
running
under
the light.
these circumstances. Well, I think
not when there's other cars that could actually hit them.
Okay, I think you're right, and the reason I think you're right is because of the 40 to 50 cars that were now piled up in my area behind me and around me. I was the only one honking.
Right, and
then nobody else thought to do this. All right, so here's what happened. I was at the corner, and I'm going to call out the streets because who cares? It was Claremont Mesa Drive and Ruffin Road, which is pretty close to our radio station here.
Yep.
I had to run over and pick up a little cash from the bank. That was simple, trip before I came into work. And I'm on Ruffin Road.
It is that time. It is biggest fan name time. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Shane Doxey of Santee. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for a grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Shane Doxey of Santee. Shane Doxey of Santee. 10 minutes starts now. 833-288-0973. I think it's about, you know what? I was going to say something. I'm going to leave that to the end. I think it's time for us to get to Tony's conversation with Michael Flix about high school basketball. So let me get your traffic, and then you'll be serenaded with the sweet pipes of Tony Gwynn Jr. and Michael Flix.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Jam-packed on the southbound side of the 805 at Claremont Mesa Boulevard, all because of a stall. It takes out the center lane, then the 52 eastbound is jammed into Santa Road. This is all because of another accident. The 125 southbound at Grossmont Boulevard, 2 left lanes are blocked with another crash. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? We always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Sue Aller with Gwen and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, joining us tonight, it's a little different than what we normally do. Usually Michael Flix is in studio, but because of some timing situations, we kind of had to do it via StreamYard. And so we're doing it, I guess the new media way, which is via the computer. And so doing our high school prep as we've done every week, second week of it for 2025. And let's start with the top teams, Michael. I don't think we kind of really got into it last time. I think we did top teams, we did top players, but it was kind of off the cuff. You've got your top 10. I think this is what the county's top 10 is. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so at number 1 so this is my top 10, my personal top 10. And like you said, it's similar to some of the other ones, but just for mine, I've got a few teams in a few different slots.
Okay.
So at number 1, I got Francis Parker. They've got a guy with D1 interest and a very just complete team. They've got multiple players that can dribble, pass, and shoot, multiple players that can score from all levels. And so I got them at number 1. Santa Fe Christians at number 2, led by Dax Hall. I got Mission Bay at number 3, led by Clay Grebbing and JoJo. He's come along. They've got another very, very complete team. At number 4, I've got Mira Mesa. Diego Ortiz is leading the way for them. He's got a couple 30-point games. He's real crafty with getting steals. And then also they got a big man, 6'8", Tim Dorn, who, he's a matchup for pretty much everyone who faces up against him. He gets a lot of rebounds, and he had 27 points the other night. So he's been doing his thing as well. I got San Marcos at number 5. They got a dynamic duo going on. Actually, kind of like a big 3. They've got Mike Brown. They've got Jalen Williams. Oh, I did it again. I'm blanking on my man's name, but they got a third player. He does a lot of shooting for them, but he Caucasian guy. Last time I seen him play, he had on pink shoes. Scores from all 3 levels, defends. He plays really well. He plays really hard. I'm going to think of his name as soon as this is over, but I'm going to make sure I give him a proper shout out next time. At number 6, I've got Victory Christian.
Now, real quick, where's Victory Christian at?
That's out in Chula Vista.
Okay.
And interestingly enough for them, Jaden Gray, his dad is the head coach of the team, and his dad is also Hoover's head football coach.
Man, okay.
Yeah, so
multi-sport coach.
Yeah. And does well in both sports actually. So yeah, I got Victory Christian at number 6, Cathedral Catholic at number 7. I've got St. Augustine at number 8. Madison, led by big man R.J. Miller at number 9. And then I've got Torrey Pines, led by Tavares Green at number 10.
Okay. Okay, so we got your top 10. Now, I know I kind of caught you off guard last time when I asked for your top players. You kind of were just kind of pulling them out of the air. You had some time to think about it. Give me the list of the top players you have in San Diego County. Now that you have some time to think about it.
Okay. So I will preface this by saying my top 10 is subject to change like week to week,
Okay.
just like my top 10 teams are.
Fair enough.
And let me also say I want to be careful when I say this because we are talking about kids here. This is just one man's opinion. If you like it, go out there and prove why I'm right. And if you feel like you should be in the top 10, go out and prove me wrong. So you know what I mean? I'm just one man's opinion.
You're all for it. Either way.
Absolutely. And this is also in no particular order for me. No particular order. I've got Tavid Lee Johnson from Francis Parker. Jalen Williams.
Wait, hold up
San
real
Marcos.
quick. Tavid Lee Johnson, guard, big man, wing. What we got?
He's a guard.
Okay.
He's a guard. Real crafty, long arms, can get his shot off against anybody. knows how to get to whatever spot he wants to. Nobody can take the ball from him. Yeah, he's like that.
Okay.
He's really
All
like
right.
that. Jalen Williams from San Marcos. I mentioned him when we spoke about San Marcos earlier. Clay Grebbing from Mission Bay. Tristan Thompson from Olympian. Lincoln Goron from Saints. Diego Ortiz from Mira Mesa. Dax Hall from Santa Fe Christian. Tim Dorn, 6'8" big man, also from Mira Mesa. And then RJ Miller from Madison. Round out my top 10.
Okay, so getting the top 10 players in the county. Hopefully they get a chance to hear this, chance to prove you right. Some who not on the list have a chance to prove you wrong. And either way,
I'm gonna make sure they hear it. This is one of my favorite things to do. I'm gonna make sure they hear it.
All right, let's get into some of the games that happened yesterday. A couple nice matchups kind of broke down. Let's start with Carlsbad over St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all these next few teams we're going to mention, they're playing in the North County Classic, so they all playing in the same tournament. They all played in the same gym last night, obviously at different times. So Carlsbad had a big, I'm sorry, not all in the same gym, but a part of the same tournament. Carlsbad had a big win over St. Augustine last night, 61-60. It came down to the wire. They're led by Jaden Gardner, whose older brother just graduated from Carlsbad last year. They got to play together last year, so now Jaden, the younger brother, is now kind of leading the way for Carlsbad. He had 20 points and 6 assists last night. So that was a big win for Carlsbad, who no one thought they'd be bad. Of course not, after the season they had last year. But after losing a player like Jake Hall and some of the other players that they lost as well, they've been not even maintaining, but actually playing above some people's expectations. So shout out to Carlsbad. And they actually play, their next game is Friday night at Pacific Ridge. And then last night, Foothills Christian. I'm sorry, no, we spoke about that one already. I'm sorry. San Marcos beat Cathedral Catholic they beat them 65-59, led by senior Jalen Williams. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. And he's a guy that can score it like that and have that complete type of a game every night. Like nobody can really stop him from scoring.
He's a handful in terms of his size, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he has a great. Well, I don't know if you're thinking about Mike Brown, the big man.
No, I'm just saying for a guard, he seems like he is a little bit tough to deal with in terms of strength, I should say. Forget size.
Yeah, he actually pretty is like has surprising strength for his size. He is pretty wiry. You're right about that. They play Scripps Ranch tonight at 7. And then let me see here. And then Victory Christian, they got an impressive win last night against Torrey Pines. And Torrey Pines has been playing well. So for Victory Christian to beat them, that was an impressive win.
Is that why you have Victory ahead of Torrey Pines in your top 10? Was that Victory last night had a lot to do with that?
Yeah, it did. It did. I gotta look at stuff like that. I can't just look at the overall like team and who you've beaten and how you play, that matters. But also like kind of the head-to-head stuff. And if I've beaten a few teams that you've lost to, then it's like,
yeah,
you know what
makes
I mean?
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, DJ Humphreys for Victory Christian last night. He had 27 points. It was real impressive. He pretty much had his way in the first half, scoring from all 3 levels. And that pretty much set the tone for the game, and they were able to take it home down the stretch.
Just another guard?
Yeah, DJ Humphreys, he's another guard. He's about like 6'2", plays really strong. Likes to get contact and create space to get his shot off. He's a really good player. Really good player.
Now Cathedral sounds like they bounced back with a kind of a big win over a large win over Ramona after going down to San Marcos, correct?
Yeah, it was. It was clearly. It seems like it was one of those wins that was like, from my perspective, and I know a little bit about their coach, it seems like it was a thing where it was like we were supposed to win that. So next game, somebody's
gonna pay for that.
Yeah, at least to look how it's supposed to look. So, shout out to Cathedral for bouncing back. I actually had a chance to interview their starting 5 at their media day. I don't know if I spoke about this last week. I had a chance to interview their whole starting 5 at their media day, and they're a really, really connected bunch. Their coach has them all really playing on the same page. They took a few out-of-state trips during the off-season tournament games. And things.
So they played against some tough competition during the summer.
Yeah. And with that, they were talking about that, but they were also speaking about how just that travel and hotel rooms and flights and all that, they've become like really, really tight knit. So it's been impressive to watch that chemistry on the court for them this year too.
All right, let's kind of break down some of those same games happening tonight. You also want to give some love to a team down south in the Morris Tigers, who are off to a fantastic start. Let's get to some of those other games that we kind of highlighted, and then get to Morris before we get up out of here.
Yes, so Rancho Bernardo plays La Costa Canyon tonight at 7. I'm not sure yet, and I don't want to make any promises, but I'm thinking that's the game I'm going to be at tonight. I haven't seen either of those teams play yet, and I've been really wanting to make it out to see them. So, and that's going to be a good one too. Rancho Bernardo plays hard, they play fast, they play defense, and La Costa Canyon is always well coached. They always have guys that know how to shoot it, and they always run their offense to a T. So that's going to be a great game to watch. La Jolla Country Day plays RBV at home tonight at 7. Once again, La Jolla Country Day is another team that's always well coached, always plays hard. RBV, they have I'm blanking on my man's name. Light-skinned shooter. He's not just a shooter, just he knows how to get everywhere on the court, knows how to play real well. I can't believe I'm blanking on my man's name. But yeah, it's gonna be another good game to watch right now. I'm not gonna let that happen for the rest of this year. I'm not gonna let that happen.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right. And then Olympian plays San Diego High tonight at 6. And then like you said, Morris, they don't play until Friday, but like you said, we wanted to give a shout out to Morris, who's off to an 8-0 start, who every year if it's not an alumni or somebody that I grew up with or a player from now, they're like, bro, when you go show Morris some love, when you go come out to one of our games. I'm on the way, Morris. I wanted to make sure I showed y'all some love on the radio tonight, but I'm on the way. As soon as I get a chance, I'm coming to a Morris game. So shout out to Morris on their 8-0 start, and hopefully y'all continue winning, man.
Let me ask you quickly about Olympian. That was a team that made a long run last year. Are they not as talented? Are they having did they lose enough firepower that we're not talking about them in the same way we were talking about them last year?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. They had one player, I mean, not their top player, but they had an important player transfer out. And then both of the guys, Tristan and the guys that are there, they burst onto the scene last year. And I think now it's a thing where like everyone knows how good they are. So it's not like, oh, look what Olympian's doing over there.
Gotcha.
It's like, okay, everyone knows how good they are. So you kind of expect it from them now. But yeah, I'm still, very excited to see what Olympian does this season for sure.
Now you mentioned, Morris, the Morris alum have been on your head about getting out there. You possibly are going to see Rancho Bernardo and La Costa Canyon tonight. You'll be able to cross those two teams off. Who else at this point is on your list to possibly visit and check out?
Well, Victory Christian, we speak about them a lot, but I haven't had a chance to see them in person yet. Same with Francis Parker. I mean, they're easy to know what's going on because they're some of the top teams and their highlights are everywhere.
Right.
But those are another two teams. O'Farrell, actually, I want to get out to O'Farrell. I'm ashamed to say I've never filmed a game in O'Farrell's gym. I'm ashamed to say that. So I got to get out to O'Farrell soon. And then my guy, Jeff Bigford, the coach at Valley Center, he's a friend of mine. So I gotta get out and show him some love. So those are some of the schools that
I enjoy the fact that you get up down south, you get up north, you kind of spread it around a little bit. I think a lot of it is saturated, further south in terms of the teams that you can go watch, but a lot of good North County teams up there as well. I mean, and some of them are on the coast, which stretches out a little bit further, but you're gonna be stacking some miles, man. You're going to watch all these teams play this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough and it's draining, but it's important to me, man. When I started off doing this, I always said that I wanted to make sure I showed love. Of course, we're going to cover the top teams, but I always said I wanted to make sure I covered the teams and players that typically wouldn't get a highlight tape or wouldn't get an interview. And I've been blessed that my career has grown and that it's usually the top players and teams that do book me. So my career has kind of turned into covering the top teams, but it's still very important to me to make sure that I cover the county as a whole, whether the team is the best team in the Open or the worst team in Division 4. I want to make sure I cover everybody.
You're doing a fantastic job, Michael. Appreciate you once again. Let's get back together next week and see what you got for us.
Sounds good. Thank you again for having me on.
All right, that was Michael Flix and Tony Gwynn Jr. breaking it down, and appreciate Michael Flix for coming on the show. He is someone who comes in studio most of the time, but like today was the first time we had to do the recording while he was at home because we had timing issues. But Michael Flix, very, very good and easy guy to work with. All right, I'm going to leave you with this because we are at the end of the show. Like I said earlier, Gwynn and Chris are both going to be back tomorrow in studio, so you won't have to deal with just me. We'll recap what happened over the winter meetings. We'll talk about the Aztecs playing Lamar. We'll do all of that stuff. We'll preview Thursday Night Baseball, but I really want to leave you with this one thing. And we've been talking about pitching for the entire offseason so far. We've been talking about pitching. And guess what? John Heyman tweeted out something I think we should all pay attention to. Joey Gallo, the pitcher, is drawing interest from several teams. Joey Gallo is going to try to make this whole pitching thing work. If you don't know who Joey Gallo is, he was a hitter outfielder, and he struck out a lot. But he's trying to make a comeback in his career and trying to be a pitcher. I don't really want Joey Gallo, the pitcher, on this team. I don't really want Joey Gallo, the hitter, on this team. Too many strikeouts, but hey, Joey Gallo trying to make the dream work. So I got to appreciate that. I see. Did the person call in? Yes. Shane did call in for the biggest fan. So we'll have more tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great night. No Skraby show for tonight. Again, back with Gwynn and Chris tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan. Have a great night, everybody.